My sister-in-law was cheating on her partner. I secretly helped him move out.
All right. Get his stuff on the curb.
Ooh. About 5 years ago, I moved about 15 hours away from my hometown for a job. Shortly after moving, I met my now wife, Becca.
Yep. Wife Becca.
A few years ago, I had a buddy, JR, from back home come stay with me. Buddy JR and OP, they're living together. And while here, he met my wife's sister, Maggie. There we go. So JR and Maggie hit it off. They pretty quickly started dating. Maggie has a daughter from a previous relationship. Daughter's dad is very much in the picture. By the way, this comes from Vast Basis 2273. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, almost a year ago, Maggie and JR moved in together. It's getting serious.
Baby. It's getting serious.
Getting real serious. And speaking of which, how's the chart looking, Sammy?
Chart is looking good.
There we go.
We got JR and Maggie in a relationship. Maggie has a daughter, and the daughter has a dad. That is not JR.
Bingo. So Maggie is like the sister-in-law, right? OP sister-in-law?
Maggie is Becca, sister-in-law. Becca's sister.
Yes. There we go.
Which is the wife of OP.
Yes. So at the time, sister-in-law Maggie was living with her parents, but she could not afford rent on her own. Things seemed to be going along well. It is a long story, but almost 2 months ago, JR got pretty irrefutable proof that Maggie was cheating on him.
Ooh. Oh, no. Oh, no. What was the proof? What was the proof? Did he hear moans to the walls?
Ooh, that would not be fun proof.
Spicy pics.
Oh, that's probably worse.
Yeah. Which is where I would rather see spicy pics than hear moans to the walls.
Yeah, I guess it's like it's like feeling it live and direct.
Yeah. Like everyone knows the live experience is more. It's a lot. It's more. It's just more.
You don't want the live in concert of your partner cheating on you. Let's do the pre-recorded. Also, that thing was spitting out more than Maggie was.
Oh, Maggie. Oh,
sorry.
No. Oh,
sorry.
no.
Our printer was spitting prints. I can't help it. So, of course, he was angry, depressed, and overall distraught. He could not deal with confronting her, but he could also not deal with living with her. The classic dilemma.
Yeah.
He talked to me and wanted my help to get away. So I reached out to my network of people who are not mutual friends of Becca and I to get him a place to stay. Becca, sister-in-law Maggie, and Maggie's daughter, and my mother-in-law were going out of town to visit mother-in-law's mom a few weeks after he found out. Dude, OP just confuses people the most confusing way possible.
Mother-in-law's mom. Ugh.
Dude, come on. Grandma-in-law.
Yeah.
Grandma-in-law, come on.
Grandma-in-law.
I had a work friend with a rent house. I helped JR pack his stuff, which is like 90% of the apartment, and he moved out. He sent an email to Maggie about why he left and moved out. He left a check for rent, utilities through the end of March when their lease is up. Wow, great timing.
Dang.
And informed the landlord that he was not renewing. Super quick pause here. Was this a good move? Yes or no? To just like leave, email.
I mean, he wants to get out of it. I mean, I feel like he did a good job of like making sure all of his bases are covered.
Yes.
In terms of not screwing her over completely, but saying, hey, I'm not going to be here anymore.
Yeah.
I think having a conversation would be good.
Yeah.
Because we've had situations where we've discovered irrefutable evidence, but then turns out it was refutable.
That is true.
So I think usually just having a conversation first, saying, hey, this is what I found out, I'm going to leave, and just giving the person a chance to respond, especially if it's not like an abusive relationship.
Yeah.
I think that would be okay.
OP says Maggie got the email and called JR numerous times while on the trip. My wife called me and asked what was going on and where JR was. I told her that JR moved out and he was safe, but I will not tell her where he is. They got back and Maggie flipped out about all of the stuff that JR took. My wife was quite angry and demanded to know where JR was. I kept telling her that he is safe, but I am not telling her where he is at. The last month has been tense, and my wife has begged me and made threats to know where JR is. This is like...
I wonder what the threats are.
Yeah, like
no head for a week.
I'm moving out, and I'm not telling you. That's
a little bit more than mine.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. So she has even tried using my phone to impersonate me to call JR and get information out of him.
Hey, that feels like a violation of the trust of the relationship.
Yeah, dude. It's checking the phone. It's like basically the same. You're getting into the phone.
I don't know if I like that.
Maybe worse. I have since changed my passcode. She says, we are married. This is affecting my family. I deserve to know. Tell me what I need to know. But I refuse. She has even talked about this being divorceable. So, am I the a-hole? We have edits. We have irrelevant comments. We have updates, I'm pretty sure. We've got so much more left in the story to dissect, but we have to answer this question.
I mean,
is OP the a-hole right now?
Is OP the... I don't think so. I think he's protecting his friend JR's privacy. Yeah. I do think JR should have had one final conversation with Maggie, just saying, hey, this is what I know. But I don't think that's OP's problem to deal with. I think all he's doing is protecting the privacy of his friend. Doesn't sound like JR stole anything that isn't his.
You know, maybe that's debatable because like they said he took 90% of stuff and Maggie was freaking out. So I imagine there could be some crossover or something that could have been a conversation. Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Which again, like that's why I feel like JR not saying anything. About like what he's doing, what he's taking. Like, I mean, you can't just let's say you co-own certain stuff.
Yep.
And you just leave. I mean, you're effectively stealing whatever percentage ownership that Maggie may have had, like if they bought a couch together or whatever.
Yes.
But all that to say, is it OP's issue? Like, no, I think him protecting the privacy of JR is okay. And I think the fact the wife is being so snoopy on the phone and like threatening divorce, that feels really unhealthy.
Yeah, I'm definitely seeing some red flags. But guys, we got an edit. We've got some more info, okay? So, number one, my wife knows why JR left. So, she knows about the cheating, which is good. Maggie has admitted to the cheating since he left. Point number three, my wife denies knowing about the cheating, and I do believe her. Historically, Maggie and Becca are not that close. Prior to JR moving here, we would see Maggie once every maybe 3 months-ish. Since JR moved, we see her a lot more because JR and I regularly organize get-togethers, which is why my wife's reaction is so surprising to me. It's like, hey, you weren't even like that close. Why are you unreasonably defending her? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
like,
I guess it makes me wonder, and this is conspiracy theory, but is there something that OP's wife is hiding that she think will be exposed by, JR leaving?
Did Maggie poison the well? She's like, hey, I cheated, but XYZ, and that's kind of painting a reason why she's more in her corner. I don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, your family.
Or like, I'm even wondering, like, Maggie and Becca went on some girls' bachelor trip and they both did something naughty, and Becca's worried that JR is gonna tell OP. I don't know. That I feel like that's a conspiracy theory.
But it could be that would explain the logic.
Yeah, and it'd be like, it just feels like OP's wife. I guess all I'm thinking right now is OP's wife seems to have something to lose, which is why she's acting so sus. And I'm wondering what that is.
Point number four, the stuff JR took was only his stuff. In fact, a lot of stuff he left is also his stuff. So he left some of his stuff behind even. Other than gadgets, he left all the kitchen things, despite it being 100% his. Wow. He left all of the stuff in my niece's room, even though he had paid for a lot of it. And there was no consensus. OP basically received majority, not the a-hole.
Which I think not the a-holes. I think we're in agreement here, too.
I agree. We got some relevant comments here. So how did JR find out about Maggie's cheating? OP says text messages with her affair partner. Maggie freely admits she was cheating, even admitted it in voicemails and text messages to JR after he sent the email.
I wonder why.
There's no dispute about that.
Why was she so... I mean, I guess that's one green flag. Like, if you're going to cheat, freely admit it.
Just like, okay, yeah, which so often we see people just like... And it's like, the jig is up. You might as well at least be honest about it now. So
yeah. Hey, one gold star for Maggie.
Maybe like a point on the star. You know what I mean? Like one of the little arms.
Yeah.
Did JR take some of Maggie's stuff when he moved out? Opie says none of what we moved out was her stuff. I helped him move in. It was all his. There were big ticket items like the bed, living room TV, couches, dining room table, but it was all stuff that he had before he moved here. Much of it he had before they even started dating. And I guess that does leave her. She comes home and she's like, okay, well, now I have no bed. I have no. So again, maybe another point in the conversation.
Yeah,
just give her a.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like she might have agreed, like, hey, yeah, this is all your stuff, but the fact that it's just all gone, there's an emotional yeah, she can plan a little bit more. Also, just I mean, like thinking about the kid, like the kid is and the kid comes back and is like, Mom, where's all of our crap?
Why do we live in a box now?
Yeah. I feel like just thinking of the kid too, you know, you want to create a nice transition for the kid.
Commenter number 1 says, I get the feeling that there is info being left out, but I can't really put my finger on what it is.
I'm thinking too. Yeah.
I think so too. So I'm going to ask a few questions. Who is Maggie cheating with? How old is Maggie's daughter? What's the long-term plan here? This guy is your best friend and you just plan to keep him secret forever? Why is your wife so invested? Does she feel that she got closer with her sister since GR was there to get everyone together? And now that he is gone, she fears that she'll lose this closeness with her. So maybe one reason why she's defending her so much. Please ask your wife, what would she say or do if she did know where JR is? She plans to bully him into coming back or what? If Maggie was so dependent on this relationship, why did she cheat? Did she have a history of cheating? And OP responds to that interrogation.
Let's go.
Of juicy
Exciting.
info. Okay. So who was the person? A coworker. The affair partner was a coworker. Well, JR is trying to figure that out. He's considering whether he's going to stay here or move back home. He's not able to remain in hiding forever. But right now, this is the situation. I suspect that in the next 3-ish months for him to figure out what his plan's going to be. In the meantime, I am not saying where he is to my wife. Maggie was always the kid who could not get her crap together. It annoyed Becca to no end. With JR moving in, it felt like Becca was getting her crap together.
So maybe she's worried that like Maggie's gonna fall to pieces.
And
without
maybe
JR.
that's also going to be her problem too.
Yeah, that feels plausible. It's like, oh, finally someone took control of this mess of a person.
Yeah.
I had some rest, and now it's like, oh, I'm gonna have to go back into it.
Back to it, yeah, especially with the breakup. Now she's afraid things are going to revert. My in-laws are frustrated by that possibility too. They like JR and want to talk to JR to see what they can do to salvage the situation. Everyone wants JR back, dude.
Everyone's like, oh my God, you helped this family so much. Please.
You fumbled the bag.
We'll pay you. We'll pay you
right?
to just take care of her.
Dude, what's the price? JR is one of the nicest guys in the world and does not want to upset them. Ultimately, they feel like they have seen Maggie actually be a functioning adult and are deeply afraid if JR leaves that she will just stop doing that. OP on the possibility of his wife cheating and Maggie covering up for her.
That's what we said. I feel like that this is more of a stretch.
Yeah.
Than but hey.
I love a good Hail Mary because when it lands.
And when it lands.
It feels so good for a half second and then so bad. Right
after. I'm like, oh man, why am I right?
We don't want it to be true. So OP responds, my wife and I have a Life 360. We work in office buildings next to each other. That is how we met. And when we're not working, we spend most of our time together. Could she be cheating? Absolutely, but it would be pretty difficult for her to do that.
I mean, as Jeff Goldblum says, life finds a way. So does cheating, you know?
That's life. OP responds to a downvoted comment regarding getting involved with JR's situation. I'm guessing maybe like getting after him for like hiding it and protecting him. OP says, on top of that, I think you got too involved in a situation that doesn't really concern you. OP says, the situation does concern me. First, this is outside of my brother, the man closest to me in the whole world. Second, he has asked for my help in the situation. Third, he was with Maggie, at least in part, at my prompting and suggestion after they met via me. I'm not saying you can't refer him to open housing or to help him pack up, but I think helping him facilitate all of the pre-planning makes you look a little bit of an a-hole. You can't throw your hands up now and say it's none of my business and not my place to tell when you quite literally made it your business by executing this big butt secret plan with him. Everyone sucks here. Just quick gut take on that. Do you agree with any of that?
I mean, maybe.
It's tough because there's so much conflict of interest.
it's like, do you, if you tell your wife, then she tells Maggie. It's
exactly.
like, You know,
Which I think she definitely would have done, knowing her response now.
if a friend comes to you and asks, "Hey, I need your help, but please don't tell your wife," what do you think about that?
Dude,
That's tough.
It is. I've honestly been buying time because it is really, really hard. Maybe,
I think you could say like, "Hey, I won't tell her right now, but I do have to tell my wife eventually."
yes.
And then you tell your wife, and your wife is probably mad that you didn't talk about it earlier.
Maybe also you could be like, hey, listen, JR's going through some stuff. He has asked me to, respect his privacy. And because of the situation, that's exactly what I'm going to do. So I'm telling you, I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah, I like that. I like the tell I'm not going to tell you.
Yeah.
Maybe that's what OP could have done to not be the a-hole to his wife.
So OP responds to this critique. I have no idea where you see me saying it is quote unquote none of my business. I am saying that I have been asked to keep JR's location confidential, and I am just doing that. Another comment, shouldn't OP be concerned about his niece's relationship with JR? OP said he did tell her goodbye. He did not tell her to lie. Of all people here, she is not upset with him being gone. Her dad poisoned the well and told her to keep her distance from him, and she generally did. She's not upset at all that he's gone. So maybe they didn't even have a good relationship, so she doesn't care.
Yeah, that sucks though.
But I guess it doesn't affect her too.
Yeah.
Commenter says, if Maggie and Becca were not close, then why is Becca so angry? If she knows that Maggie cheated, why is she threatening divorce over it? Does she condone Maggie's behavior? If she doesn't, then she would side with you and respect JR's right to his privacy. At the very least, she would stay out of it. This is why hooking people up is so hard, because at some point you will be choosing sides. Maggie cheated and will have to live with the consequences of her actions, and I would have a long talk with Becca about her behavior and the stance that she took against you and JR. She chose a side with the cheater, which says a lot about her character. You might want to check out what's been going on with Becca, that she would choose the side of a cheater. When you side with a cheater, you might be one yourself. Don't hold that against me.
I don't agree with that. She's siding with her sister. You know, and I feel like that's different than yes, not the best move because she did cheat, and I don't think that's the side she should take, but she sided with her sister.
I think, and maybe this wasn't mentioned, she should have at least been condemning her in this process, being like, listen, I know she totally fumbled the bag, but so you're not the a-hole, but Becca and Maggie are. JR ghosted Maggie, and that needs to be respected. He doesn't want a confrontation, and he doesn't want to hear her lies. As a friend, you don't have the right to betray his confidence, not even to your wife. OP responds to this. If Maggie and Becca were not close, why was Becca so angry? If she knows that Maggie cheated, why is she threatening divorce? Okay. Becca's tendency when a crap hits the fan is for anything is to go into fix-it mode. She is an engineer by training. She gets incredibly angry at anything she perceives as in the way of fixing the problem, issue, bug, etc. It's her default belief that anything can be fixed. So she thinks what Maggie did is very crappy, but there's no way to undo it. So why fixate on it? She thinks the only productive thing to do now is try and fix it. She thinks she can fix it. I am telling her, no, you can't. And in her mind, I am stopping her from fixing it. So she's very pissed at me for that. We have an update a month and a half later.
Whoa.
I am guessing we might have some reveals on where JR is at. Maybe some communication finally starts happening between JR and Maggie.
Which would be great. I mean, I'm curious what chat thinks about OP not telling his wife JR's secrets.
Maybe a poll, tell wife or nah.
Yeah.
I'm very curious too. And also your quick thoughts on, OP has the reasoning for why the wife is basically I guess frustrated with him. But I feel like, yes, we have the logic and reasoning behind it, but it's not a good behavior. It's not worthy of threatening divorce. He's like, oh, you're getting in the way of me fixing the problem. That's how you are perceiving fixing the problem.
Yeah, I mean, I think he is trying to give her the benefit of the doubt as much as possible.
Yeah.
But I do think it's pretty toxic behavior on the wife's part. And although OP understands it, I don't know if it should be excused.
But we're going to get into this update a month and a half later. By the way, this happened just a week ago. This is fresh, hot off the presses. So, weeks after the post, Becca let it slip that I knew where JR is located. This caused a slew of intimidation from Maggie and my mother-in-law. I refused to tell him where he is. Some choice words were exchanged between Maggie and
I don't think that Becca, OP's wife, did it accidentally. I think she leaked it on purpose.
Yeah, let it slip.
Yeah,
Oops.
yeah.
My
I think it was
bad.
intentional. That's pretty messed up on the wife's part.
Yeah. So I told Maggie she's not allowed in my house until she apologizes to me. She refuses, so I have not seen her or my in-laws in about a month. Since the end of March 2025, Maggie has been living again with my in-laws. Becca tried to get me to agree to let Maggie and my niece move in,
I really don't think that's a good idea.
but I refused based on the conflict that I have with Maggie and Becca's behavior the last couple of months. Becca explained to me why she has been behaving the way she has the last couple of months.
Okay.
Hey, are we going to see, is there a reason that explains Maggie's cheating and all of it? Is it all going to be explained like, oh yeah, of course. Like,
The thing though is it's like, it doesn't feel like Becca is changing any of her behavior.
no,
It's
she's
like,
still
hey, I
doing
want
bad.
to tell you why I've been like being so terrible the last couple months and will continue to be terrible.
Yeah.
You know?
I feel like it's giving the same thing as before where Opie's like, oh, my wife just like, anytime someone gets in the way of her fixing the problem, she gets mad. It's like, yeah, that's not good. Yeah.
That shouldn't be excused.
Yeah. Maggie's ex has said that if Maggie moves back in with my in-laws, he's going to go for full custody of my niece.
Oh.
So that he's going to take the kid away from not just Maggie, but the whole side of the family, right? Has the potential to.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean, like, can he do that? I mean, I feel like living with your parents isn't necessarily a hostile environment.
I guess you could argue she doesn't have, place to live. Like I have everything. She has nothing. Now, the neighborhood where my in-laws live in is rough, and there's a fair bit of conflict between Maggie and my father-in-law. Since moving back in, my niece's dad's lawyer, so the dad, has reached out and indicated that they are going for full custody. Becca is blaming me and JR for this.
I mean, that's not fair at all, dude.
This is not...
Dude, I don't know. Like,
Maggie created this situation.
it feels like this is not a stable environment for a kid.
No!
And it doesn't feel that Becca is that great with this story. I'm not getting a lot of confidence that she's a great mom.
Opie says she is convinced that if they knew he was leaving, they could work something out to keep them together or at least keep Maggie in the apartment. I do not think this is the case at all. By the way, you can listen to full episodes of stories just like this, ladies and gentlemen. More hot tea for you. Just go to Spotify, Apple, or iHeart Podcast app and search OK Storytime. We got 2,000 episodes of juicy stories to listen to, but we're going to dive right in to the ending here. So JR is still processing, but was willing to speak to Maggie now. So we're finally getting some communication. So he reached out a couple of weeks ago. This past weekend, Maggie and JR spoke via FaceTime. Maggie wanted an in-person meeting, but JR absolutely refused. Maggie apologized and tried to get JR to reconsider for my daughter, for the stepdaughter. JR refused, which
understandable.
Like,
yeah,
like,
dude, Jay's trying to preserve his peace.
Yeah,
man.
you didn't make this mess.
Yeah, they're not even married. Like they're just,
the daughter doesn't like him. Like,
yeah, I mean, there's nothing for him there.
It's all kind of like selfishly in Maggie's interest, I feel like everything. Maggie had an emotional outburst. JR hung up on her. There's no plan for him to speak to her again. We got some relevant comments. So was Maggie on the lease with JR? Opie says she was on the lease. She did not qualify for the apartment on her own and cannot meet the qualifications. The situation between my in-laws and Maggie was contentious before she moved in with JR. I don't know if my niece's dad will win the custody battle, but what I do know is that one, my niece has expressed being scared at my in-laws' house.
Aww.
Again, it was like it's not unsafe neighborhood, they said.
Oh, that sucks.
Yeah.
Dude. I mean, hey, that I feel like that's
a big
enough.
indicator.
That's a big indicator, dude.
Number two, Maggie cannot afford to fight him on custody. And three, generally the quote unquote best interest of the child is the standard in our state, and the living situation with her dad
Which
would
is
be
a great standard.
Yeah, it's a good standard. It's a good standard. And Opie says the living situation with her dad would be significantly better. So I think what we were assuming is right. He's kind of like economically in a much better place.
Take this kid away from Maggie.
I mean, commenter says your wife is delusional. Do not let Maggie move in. She will never move out.
Agreed.
Commenter number two says Maggie effed up. Maggie continues to F up, and Becca is trying to make Maggie's F ups your problem or JR's. And it's neither. You need to take care of Maggie and her kid because she has an active father who is likely has a
or you don't need to.
You don't need to take care of Maggie and her kid because she has an active father who likely has a valid reason to be upset about the current situation. Maybe Maggie having no custody will wake her up because all of this is through her own actions.
Yeah.
She had a good guy and she cheated. she can't take care of herself and her kid, and her parents have issues with her. The common denominator is Maggie. Like, yeah. And you need to have a conversation with your wife that this isn't your problem and you don't want to make it your problem. Becca needs to recognize that Maggie has been her own worst enemy, and Becca needs to figure out if she wants to keep that BS drama in her life. You can easily walk away, and that's a conversation that should come up. And commenter number 3 closes us out. Not the a-hole, and honestly, you've been the only adult in the situation. Becca blaming you and JR for Maggie's custody issues is wild. Considering Maggie's own choices blew up her life, JR owes her nothing, and the fact that she tried to emotionally manipulate him for your daughter, quote unquote, is so gross. Like, your daughter deserves love, not guilt-leveraged relationships. You set boundaries, stuck to them, and protected someone who needed space to heal. That's not betrayal. That's loyalty with a spine.
Yeah, I mean, shout out OP for sticking to their guns and sticking to their morals. Not easy when, like, it seems like everyone is against you, making you feel crazy.
Yeah.
He's probably like, wait, literally, he's coming to Reddit because he's like, wait, am I crazy? Am I doing something wrong here?
Yes.
Because everyone in his life, like, I mean, his wife, Becky, Maggie, the parents, are all being like, dude, what are you doing?
It's a strong reality to force. When you have literally, 3, 4, 5, 6 people in your life all telling you one thing, it is hard. It's hard. Stay in because you're like, wait, right. Maybe I am wrong. But shout out Reddit for setting the record straight. Yeah, that's what we love to see. But that's where that story ends. That's right. But not this episode.
Not this episode. We got another one for you that we're gonna get right into.
Give it to me.
My sister disrespected my kid-free wedding rule, so I had her removed.
That's a lot.
So, I, 28 female, I'm getting married next month. Ooh. And I've been planning this wedding for almost a year. My fiance, 31 male, and I both agreed we wanted an adults-only event, mostly because we envisioned a more formal wedding. Have you been to an adults-only wedding?
Yeah, it's lit.
Also, the venue is small and very upscale. Not really the best place for young kids to be around. By the way, this comes from Stranger Danger 4444. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OK Storytime subreddit. So the problem is my sister, 32 female, who has 2 kids, 5 and 7. When I first mentioned the no kids policy, she didn't seem too upset. But as we got closer to the wedding, she started dropping little hints about how hard it would be to find a sitter. I totally get that it's tough, but I did offer to pay for a local sitter to stay with her kids at her hotel for the night. Well, that's a win. So she could attend the wedding without worrying. Well, she didn't like that suggestion. She says it's unfair because our other sister's wedding 3 years ago was family friendly and allowed kids, but they are different weddings. But at the time, our niece and nephew were much younger and much quieter. At this age, they're really energetic and love running around, and they tend to get cranky at night, which isn't what I want on my wedding day. It's become a point of contention. She's now saying that if her kids aren't invited, she's not sure she'll attend, which honestly hurts your bit. Do you think that's too much?
I think so. I mean, it's like your sister's wedding.
She's not sure if she'll attend, which honestly hurts a bit. My mom have told me it's our choice, our wedding, our rules, since we are the ones getting married, and I feel like I've been flexible and offered a good solution, but she's making me feel guilty for not bending this rule for family. So am I the a-hole for sticking to the no kids rule and potentially making my sister feel unwelcome? But we got an edit. So a lot of people have asked if I know the sitter, and I do. Okay. She lives in our neighborhood and has a lot of our kids' neighbors, or our neighbors' kids. She is a very responsible young woman, around 22, 24. Can't remember her exact age. I do, of course, understand that my sister might not be comfortable leaving the kids to a person she doesn't know, but I just wanted to offer her a solution. Her husband also has a family who I don't think would have anything against sitting the kids for one night, but I will let her decide if she wants to show. I just hope she does, since I do care about her and would love to have her there. Another reason is we don't want kids there because there's open bar and we don't want kids and wasted people around each other. And my fiance's family loves to party with a nice amount of wine and beer. Like, why would you even want your kids there? Thank you for all the nice words and advice. I will give an update after the wedding, and we will be keeping the no kids rule, but we are thinking about letting kids be there for the ceremony like some people suggested. Sorry it's taken so long to write the update. To be honest, I totally forgot about my post between the wedding, the honeymoon, and the family drama. It just slipped my mind, but better late than never, right? Well, the wedding happened, and let's just say It wasn't without its moments. Buckle up, because this is a ride. So after the last post, me and my now husband decided to allow kids at the ceremony, but kept the reception adults only. My sister wasn't thrilled, but said she would figure something out. I took that to mean she was actually going to find someone to take the kids after the ceremony. No, it wasn't that. Ha, cute of me to assume. And it's not like I don't like my nephew and niece. They're adorable and sweet when we babysit them because they know we set rules. But when my sister is there, they don't listen to anything because she and her husband let them do whatever they want. Okay, so I feel like these kids are going to be let loose on this wedding. I think it's not going to go well.
Little children.
The ceremony was beautiful. My niece and nephew had their iPads, so they were still and well behaved. And for a beautiful moment, I thought everything would go smoothly. How naive I was. After the ceremony, me and my newlywed husband stayed to take some more photos, and then we moved to the reception. Guests were already mingling, drinks were being poured, and I was feeling great. Then out of the corner of my eye, I saw my sister, her husband, and the kids. The one thing I told you not to bring. You bring these little rugrats in. Come on. How hard is it to leave your kids somewhere? People do it all the time. I thought she was just waiting for someone to come pick them up and didn't think much of it. Then about 20 minutes later, my nephew bolted across the room and in between the tables, nearly colliding with my stepfather. I looked at my maid of honor, and we both walked over to my sister, keeping my voice low. I reminded her that the reception was adults only. I feel like she's doing this, and her like, I just want to remind you.
As the kids are like running around.
Yeah, causing a ruckus. She sighed dramatically like I was personally ruining her life and said, we couldn't find a sitter last minute, so we'll just keep them for a little while.
Last minute, y'all had time to prepare.
I calmly told her that I had given her multiple options, including a fully vetted, well-recommended sitter and her own in-laws, but she thanked no to the sitter and apparently didn't ask her in-laws. So she refused the sitter and didn't ask the in-laws. This is weaponized incompetence. Well, she just shrugged and said, well, we're already here and they're behaving just fine. At that exact moment, glass shattered. My heart dropped. The entire room passed away silent. I looked around trying to figure out what happened and saw my aunt, God bless her, I love her so much, lifting my nephew and handing him over to my stepdad. He was fortunately okay because he didn't step in glass because my lovely aunt were close enough to control the situation. My dad and husband cleaned all the glass up. Apparently, my nephew had been crawling under the tables, which is why maybe a sister is like, oh yeah, they're not causing any trouble because you couldn't see them. They were doing a covert operation to flip over the tables and mess up the wedding. He must have pulled a cloth by accident, making a plate and a few glasses fall and shatter. Thankfully, nobody got hurt and the glass got cleaned up. My maid of honor helped find some new glasses and a plate. And when the chaos was taken care of, I went back to my sister and told her she needed to get the kids home now.
Yeah. Leave.
Get out of here. And she lost her mind. Again, this is at OP's wedding. My sister started yelling. She said stuff like, I can't believe you're choosing a stupid rule over your own family. You're being a total bridezilla and you're literally punting out your own niece and nephew like they're stray dogs.
Heck yeah.
You deserve to be punted out. At this point, people were staring. My husband came over to back me up, and my sister's husband came to calm her down. She said she couldn't drive them home since she already had something to drink. My brother-in-law, her husband, said he would drive them to his parents' place. Why wasn't that option used from the beginning? They literally had that option the whole time. I'm a little mad.
The audacity.
She got even more mad and said that she couldn't leave her kids just to be at the wedding. My mom then told her that she could leave to them, and then my sister stormed out while muttering about how I was selfish and heartless. My brother-in-law, her husband, just stood there looking so embarrassed before awkwardly getting their kids, apologizing to me and my husband, and then following her out. The rest of the night went really nice. After the kids are gone, we had so much fun. It was generally a good night. My husband and I took a taxi to our hotel around 3. The party didn't end till around 5 or 6, but we were tired and just decided it was enough for us. We fell asleep right away, and it was honestly the best sleep ever. I thought the drama was over.
Oh, God. I thought it was 2.
I thought we were wrapping up. No, there's more drama. These kids are going to crawl back. They're going to be like little kid zombies. I thought the drama was over, but nah, that would be too boring, right? Honestly, I wouldn't mind some boring moments. The next morning, I say morning, but it was after 1 p.m. We were both pretty hungover and decided to just order some pizza since we didn't want to go down and eat with a whole lot of people in a cafe in the hotel restaurant. I checked my phone while he ordered pizza and saw my mom had written me to not pay attention to the post. She would take care of it. Are people just putting their family drama on Facebook again? Because I think that's what's happening.
That's not surprising. Facebook is so weird.
I was so confused and didn't know what she was talking about. But then I saw my sister's post on Facebook. My sister had posted a full-on rant about how I humiliated her in front of everyone and made her choose between her kids and her family. She claimed I was targeting her for having a fancy wedding and excluding her kids, and she heavily implied that I had disinvited her because I hated being an aunt and hated her kids.
What?
Some of our distant relatives who weren't even at the wedding started calling me out. One of my cousins commented, "Wow, some people take weddings way too seriously. It's just one night."
What the heck?
It's your wedding night. It's not just any night.
It's your night.
And also, OP gave so many weeks.
Also, it's like you're spending that much money on your party. Like, you can make your own rules.
We're having a little bowl party right now. We're not inviting kids.
And guess what? The rules are be a cowgirl and a cowboy.
Not a cow kid.
And we listen to the rules.
But luckily, my God-sent mom and dad were not having it. They had both jumped into the comments to set the record straight, saying I had given her plenty of options and she was fully aware of the rule months in advance.
Must we belabor the point?
If it was a point, it's just being like stabbed into the ground and made very dull. I'd given her plenty of options and she was fully aware of the rule months in advance. I literally offered to pay for a sitter and she refused to use it. I didn't want to get into it and just turned off the phone. A few days after the wedding, my brother-in-law, my sister's husband, called me to apologize. He admitted that he had begged my sister to either accept my offer of a sitter or leave the kids with his parents, but she refused because she thought I'd cave at the last minute. So basically, the sister was planning this whole thing and be like, no, I'm not going to get a sitter because I want my kids there.
That's so silly. That's just rude.
I mean, it's super rude. He was mortified by how she acted and told me he had no idea she was going to make a scene like that. Apparently, they got into a huge fight about it afterwards because he was embarrassed that she made a scene. I didn't really say much. We had planned our honeymoon to be from the 3rd of January to the 12th of January so that we could hold Christmas and New Year's with our families. And the temperature is better in January for a skiing trip. We held Christmas at my husband's parents and it was really nice. We then spent New Year's with some of our friends. My sister did not speak to me at all since the wedding. She did take down the post though. We went on our honeymoon and it was so much fun. We both snowboard, though on total different skill levels, him being just a teeny tiny bit better. My sister called to apologize during the trip, but it really just ended up with her belittling me for punting her out of the wedding. So that's fun, I guess. Do I regret punting her out? Absolutely not. My wedding was so much better after she left. No drama, just a perfect night.
Amen.
Throw people out that deserve to be thrown out. Well, no drama, just a perfect night with the people who I love. By the way, if you love us, you should look at our full episodes of our podcast with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. There's another relevant update, but I feel like we've covered good ground. Hopefully no more drama. Well, am I mad about the Facebook post? Not really. My mom and dad dragged her so hard in the comments that she eventually deleted it. Good. Am I still talking to my sister? Do you think this deserves no contact?
No, I feel like this shouldn't lead to that. Like, why can't people just have good conflict resolution?
How would you resolute this conflict?
I mean, literally just have a conversation. Hey, this was my wedding. Like, it wasn't fair for you to not listen to this request that I had that I have like full rights to make. And then to like make a scene and make her seem like a bad guy. It's just disrespectful. Like, you can just tell people that.
I would be way more reticent to invite sister to a big event later if like this is the kind of stuff she pulled.
I don't think this warrants no contact. I think this warrants like a serious conversation with your family member.
Serious conversation and then caution on the next event. She has yet to actually apologize and still acts like I was the unreasonable one. At this point, I'm just letting her stew in her own bad decisions. So yeah, hope you enjoy the read, even though the update is a bit late. And that is where this story ends.
The end.
My fiance called off our wedding a week before. What do I do?
Keep it called off.
just bulldoze it. Trying to get married. This comes from Wild Lavishness 4044, who says, so my ex-fiance, male 30, has canceled our female 30 wedding a week before it is taking place.
Damn.
That is rough. We have been together for 6 years and lived together. For context, is this a throwback to the last story?
Oh my God.
What happened basically was an argument that escalated. We were heading to my program graduation. It's a smaller event of about 10 students and some professors from a community college. On that morning, as we were getting ready, I asked if he would be okay to wear one of his button-up shirts instead of the shirt he had on so we could have a nice photo. He was annoyed and snapped, "Why do I have to do things for others?"
Why do I have to care about other people?
That's such a funny response.
That's so funny.
I would honestly burst out laughing.
I would be like, that is how society works?
I told him that he truly doesn't have to. I was just asking, but it's ultimately his choice.
You can do whatever you want if you're ready for the consequences.
Yeah, right.
You can punch someone in the face if you're ready for the consequences.
You can put a button-up shirt if you're ready to be subject to be an indentured servant to society. He ended up putting the button up as we arrived at the ceremony.
That's so annoying. He just threw a fit and then did it anyway.
I bet he's just like,
button. Shirt. Put a button up.
That's definitely him right now. Everything went fine, and he was happy for me. However, on the way home, is it a graduation for OP or for him? I feel like we were heading to a program.
Heading to my program graduation.
You're right. Thank you, Sophia. However, on the way home in the car, traffic was filling up, and he was annoyed. And also, really quick, even more context, I feel like because you're celebrating your partner's graduation, that's even more of a reason for you to like. It's like when it's someone's birthday and they're like, "Hey, I want to go to this restaurant." You're not gonna be like, "Ew, let's not
I'm
go there."
wearing sweats.
Yeah, I'm wearing sweats. Yeah.
Like, let's go to like a really fancy restaurant. And they're like, nope.
Why can't I wear my assless chaps to dinner with your parents for your birthday? Come on.
What do you mean?
I'm not. I have to express myself.
Why do I have to care about your birthday?
Yeah, right. That's basically what this is. Yeah. Even like a graduation that's like once in a lifetime, maybe.
Yeah.
My God.
That's a big deal. Also, program graduation, I think, is even more special than.
It's very intimate.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
I mean, when I had my theater graduation, it was like 40 people who were graduating.
This is 10.
This is 10. That's even
very intimate.
Yeah.
However, on the way home in traffic, traffic was filling up and he was annoyed. I offered an alternative route that I know cuts some time, and the exit to that route was coming up. He didn't take it, and I was slightly annoyed about it because he was cranky with me about the traffic. We have solutions! So I asked why he didn't take it. He started full on yelling that my tone is rude and that he doesn't have to drive the way I tell him to. Something's going on here.
Something's up.
There's an ICU. There's an ICU in the chat. I see you in the chat.
Put a freaking ICU in the chat.
Do it.
Because I think this relationship is headed to the ICU.
Ooh, nice.
I've made that joke before, but I just thought.
You know what?
It
It worked perfectly
Yeah,
here.
yeah, yeah.
Honestly, we should say that more.
We should say that more. Why don't we?
We should. I replied saying that I literally just asked, and I don't actually care what route he takes. He was the one having a problem with traffic. You had a problem. I was trying to help you. He blew up and blamed me for getting him upset. That's very dangerous. When we got home, I apologized and explained that I didn't mean to come across as mean. I also said that screaming doesn't help in any situation and we should just talk instead. Yes, everything OP is saying is very logical. He basically explained that an apology doesn't solve anything and that he needs such things to not happen. Otherwise, he would continue exploding at me because that's the only time I listen to him.
Whoa, that's unhealthy.
Honestly, why would you want to marry this guy?
Yeah, I feel like he's showing you the reasons he shouldn't marry you.
After a few hours, we spoke again. He apologized for yelling, and I apologized for the miscommunication that happened. Despite resolving this, quote unquote, later that night, I was crying due to the fact that he so easily yells at me when he's upset.
Red flag.
I was so upset that even on such an important day for me, I felt like he picked fights. And adding to this, yelling is such a red flag for me. Yes, there's no reason to yell.
No reason.
Unless there's a truck about to hit you and you need them to jump out of the way.
I feel like it's the same kind of thing as using your horn when you're driving. That is like beeping at someone is used when you're about to get in an accident.
I actually disagree, and we can talk about this at the end of the episode because that's a great discussion to have.
Yeah, sure. I was just gonna say it's not for showing aggression randomly.
But I feel like there is literally never an acceptable reason to yell at someone.
Yeah.
You can tell someone, hey, like, you did this hurt me. What you're doing is wrong. You need to stop. Like you can communicate
with your
what
words.
needs to be said. Yeah, but I feel like yelling, especially in a relationship, especially a man to a woman, unacceptable.
Yeah.
Unacceptable.
No,
Unacceptable.
I mean, it's like you didn't progress past toddler.
Yes.
If you can only the fact that he said the only way that I can communicate with you is through yelling and through arguing.
Crazy.
Crazy.
So despite resolving this, later that night, I was crying due to the fact that he so easily yells when he's upset. I was so upset that on even such an important day for me, I felt like he picked fights, and adding to this, yelling is such a red flag to me, and I never do that to him or anyone for that matter. The next morning, we were having breakfast, and he asked me why I seemed so gloomy, so I told him that everything's okay. I'm just processing what happened yesterday. He asked me to please share with him, so I told him that I felt like my special day was kind of ruined by fighting about things we could have easily resolved. He immediately just flipped and started getting angry again. Yeah, this guy's trash. He blamed me for the fights, and when I replied that I don't think it's fair to blame me, he got angrier and said that he can't do this and that I'm not a good communicator.
What?
Literally the opposite. And that he cannot get married like this. Again, ICU. There's such an ICU here. I was full on shocked. I thought he was talking out of emotion like many times before, but this time he actually ended up sending a mass text to some guests to let them know that the wedding is off. Wait, he's done stuff like this before? Girl, leave. I was flabbergasted at the quickness and so confused. We started arguing and then had to leave for our days. He literally created this.
He created this argument to get out of the marriage.
Mountain out of a molehill to the extreme. We went from a pebble to Mount Everest. Like we have
truly,
to
a button to Mount Everest.
A button to Mount Everest. Later that day, when we returned, I asked if this was something he truly wants to do, to call everything off, and he responded with a confident yes.
Yikes.
What I thought was an action out of anger seemed to be solid for him. For the rest of the night and the next day, I tried to fix things between us. After many hours of talking and lots of crying from my end, he kept explaining that I don't communicate well and that this cancellation was my fault. Projecting. I tried to offer some solutions, but he was full on with the decision to cancel and break up. He asked if we could give it another day or two to ensure this is what he wants before we cancel the venue. He declined and asked to cancel the venue and vendors immediately. So we did. Let's take a pause right here. This isn't enough.
Freaking pause. And this goes back to the first story, honestly. There's an underlying through line of if he wants to break up, this is like such a coward move.
Yeah, mix wormy red pill. Like, I wonder if this is the classic went down the red pill rabbit hole.
Yeah.
And is now just like, it is so annoying and like frustrating. It's so cowardly. Like it. I hate this. You're torturing. Just tell your partner I don't want to be in a relationship.
Yeah,
like,
use your freaking words.
Don't torture the person with all of this BS. My goodness gracious. Oh, well. The next day, I went on errands and then met up with my friend. It was truly such a hard day, and I was heartbroken, still digesting that this is happening. When I came home, he asked to talk and started crying that he regrets everything he said in the last few days. Buddy,
Gaslight.
buddy, I don't believe this for a second.
You
and
freaking liar.
you don't deserve any sympathy because you were so ridiculous.
So ridiculous.
Oh my gosh.
And also now you've involved other people into your argument. You've told people that you're canceling this wedding. It's too late.
Yes, 100%. Yeah, great point. Great point. That he didn't mean it, and he was angry and didn't think straight. He said he will start therapy and wanted to do couples counseling now too, after I offered it many times. So OP's just offered this over and over again. He never accepted it. Anyway, he apologized profusely and kept asking if we can mend everything or whether he effed up. I mean, you definitely effed up, pal. My God. I was almost sure that this regret would come, and honestly, maybe it was mean, but I said, yeah, you effed up big time. You made a rash decision that hurt our relationship big time. There's no going back from here.
Yes.
Honestly, I do not think that is mean. I think that...
Oh, no, I don't think that's mean at all. I think it needed to be said.
It's very, like, listen, you messed up. You effed up big time.
Yeah.
You made rash decisions, and that hurt our relationship big time, and there isn't any going back from here.
Yeah.
I think that was communicated in a very, like, straightforward manner. Like, yes, it is harsh because the truth is harsh.
I think she needed to be harsh with him.
Yeah, you're right. And it wasn't like, you know, F you, I hope you die, blah, 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 blah. No.
It was like, you made a mistake and we can't come back from that mistake.
Yes. Maybe he has some, like, serious mental health issues that's causing him to have these, like, vast differences in emotions and mood swings.
Yes. Like
I'm not excusing it at all.
Yeah.
Just
No, yeah, absolutely. But that, like,
it doesn't matter because OP that doesn't erase the pain that OP has felt.
And also, if this is a long-standing thing and she's brought up, hey, like, you need to go to therapy, blah blah blah, and he doesn't do that, that's also a bad thing. Like, even if he had BPD or something,
yes,
if he didn't go and get tested and, like, try and get medicated for that, that's also a reason to break up, regardless of whether he has it or not.
Yeah, like she has repeatedly said, like, hey, let's do couples counseling, let's do therapy. Basically the means to help find the solution to just simply get on the path to helping that. Not to say that it's like, oh, completely
He's
fixed.
He's given him chances, and if you don't take those chances, no one owes you that, you know, like that, not forgiveness, but, you know, no one owes you that grace when you're not even trying to improve.
Yes, I agree. He pretty much begged for another chance, but everything is canceled and my trust is shattered, as it should be. The wedding's supposed to be in 2 days. His aunt was supposed to be on the way to our house to help pack for decorations, and now there's no way we can schedule everything again, and frankly, I don't want to at this point. This is not the first he cancels plans or breaks up with me during a disagreement.
Yeah.
Just everything is confirming that this should be over.
Sorry, I did not.
That's
not the first time that he's broken up with her over a disagreement.
Argument. Yes.
Oh,
ridiculous.
Leave.
Which she is. I think now she finally understands.
I think she's like, oh, this is unhealthy.
Yes. Everyone is telling us this is fixable, that we clearly love each other. So if we want, this situation doesn't have to be the end of the relationship. I would never have the audacity to, like even someone like Sam, who I've known for so long, and we've, you know, been through this insane journey together. I don't know if I would ever tell Sam that.
I don't know if I would ever tell someone to get back into a relationship.
Because it's like you really don't know the full extent of the relationship.
Yeah.
You haven't been there, like, the whole, you know, for every second of what happens. So you truly don't know the full dynamic. I think you have to treat it like a therapist and just be like, I'm here to listen and, like, you know,
I think that when you're talking to friends about relationships, especially like during breakup stuff, I think you should act more so as a kind of echo of their own thoughts and feelings, and being like, okay, how did this make you feel?
Yes.
And you're kind of like a conduit.
Yes,
for what they're already thinking.
You're a conduit for them to just work out
their feelings,
their emotions and be able to just talk through it out loud with a considerate, empathetic person who can listen. So much time and effort and money has gone into this wedding. That's now done. And plus, more importantly, I can't trust him anymore. Correct. I don't know what to do at this point. We were supposed to go on our honeymoon right after, so now I'm thinking of going by myself. He asked if we can go together and spend that time to fix things, but I'm just questioning everything. Don't. I think I prefer just going myself to do some soul searching. Should I call it quits and move on with my wife?
Yes.
With my life?
Move on with your wife.
Yeah, I got a wife. Me. I'm married to myself.
I'm my own wife.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm a lesbian for me. Boom.
Wait, that's a plot of a Glee episode. Sue Sylvester marries herself.
That's great. Should I call this quits and move on with my life, or take his word and start couples counseling? I love him with my entire heart, and we had a very loving experience between us over the years. We don't have any issues aside from such incidents, but I don't know whether it's actually possible to come back from this one. Thoughts? Advice? And there are some relevant comments. Gardening Gnome 1609 says, you don't want to marry this man, and he's doing you a huge favor. Huge. Find a place to live, extricate yourself financially from him.
Like, pull yourself away.
Yes, remove. And thank your lucky stars that you are not going to waste a decade with a man who screams at you all the time before you get that divorce. God forbid you have kids with him. Absolutely. Did the fabricateer says, like he yells at you at the drop of a hat. He's annoyed by traffic. It's her fault. The insanity. If she suggests a route home, he gets angry. He asks her why she's gloomy, and as soon as she answers, his immediate reaction like a toddler is to just crack it. And then he has the stones to say she isn't communicating. I mean, there's gaslighting, and then there's actually setting your partner on fire like a pine cone. That's hilarious. Go on this honeymoon without him, or send him on it and take it for yourself, girl. Yeah, use it for soul searching, and use the time to pack your stuff up and move out. This is not the person worth fighting for. You've just been given a get out of jail free card. Take it and run. Cuteness Aggression says he breaks up with you when you fight. That's not stable nor healthy. I would recommend moving on from the relationship and finding one with someone who won't hold the relationship hostage every time you have an issue. You'll be amazed once you move on how much better a healthy relationship will be for you. Oh my God. And there's still more. There's an update 5 days later. Let's get right into it. I'm dying to know what happens. Thanks to everyone for the comments and support since this all happened. He apologized profusely and offered to return the venue and still go and get married on the same day. He also offered couples counseling starting now and right after we got married if I still want to. Additionally, he offered to go on the trip together to fix things. I declined to everything since the damage has been done, and I decided to go on the honeymoon myself while he packs all of his items. Ooh. He's still going to start his own therapy journey while we're broken up. I don't know what's next, but this hurts so much because we still love each other. He's going to work on his mental health to address this impulsive actions when he's upset. He also realized it wasn't actually a communication issue, but rather how he felt attacked due to his own confidence. I appreciate his honesty, but now it's impossible to forgive what has happened. Torn between trying couples counseling since he seems genuinely trying to be completely separating. Let's close out this story here. What was the question again? It was should all
breakups be prefaced with an explanation?
Should all breakups be prefaced with an explanation? Which OP did give an explanation. I think I will end with it is good to do. But there are obviously scenarios, when you're in danger, absolutely not, but I guess maybe outside of that scenario, I guess it is a good thing to do, honestly, even for yourself, just to, like, for instance, let's say she left this kind of in limbo and he thinks that maybe there's a chance to get back and he keeps trying to get with her. I think it's a good. What say you in situations where there's not danger
where there's
involved?
not danger. Yeah. I think that having a moment where where both parties explain,
yes,
hey, this relationship isn't working. This is why. I think we need to end it. I think that is helpful for both sides.
Yes,
honestly.
and honestly, I think it helps. In this case, it helps OP because again, she's giving clarity and being like, I do not want a relationship with
Yeah.
you. In no uncertain terms should you try to pursue a relationship with me again. So now anytime he tries to do that, he is breaking the line and boundary that OP is like.
And also giving herself that like clear, concise, this is why I'm not getting back into the relationship will hopefully prevent her from coming back to it.
That is such a great point. It's you thinking through, okay, what is the reasons why? Confirms it for yourself. It's like another opportunity to like just be 100% with yourself that you are like about that 100%.
That life.
Well, there wasn't any love in this relationship, but I just found out my fiance is settling for me right before her wedding.
Not the moment that you want to know that your wife is settling.
Editor's note, one modern method to search for a partner in an arranged marriage market is through WhatsApp. Matchmakers, nosy aunties, community elders that run these small groups where people of that community/ethnicity can join through fees/recommendations. They share profiles of people that are single, and people can take it forward to set up dates. By the way, this comes from Throwaway 397-2467. And if you want to submit your own story, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit.
That's pretty cool.
I, 25 female, had a crush on my fiance ever since we were 6 years old. I would ask him out through friends ever so often until I turned 15 years old. Everyone around us, including him, knew that I had a huge crush on him. And the fact that he never really said no, he would always either just respond with, I know she has a crush on me. Him never giving a clear answer just fueled my delusion. I know it wasn't his fault. I was just being crazy. I never really got much attention from guys except a few, whereas he got tons and tons of attention from girls until the time I turned 23 and he turned 24 years old. I hadn't had any boyfriends, whereas he had been in around 13 relationships that I know of.
Whoa, 13 is a normal amount.
But he was putting numbers on the board.
13 is a lot. 13
does it
relationships.
compare to Samuel Donner's numbers on the board?
Whoa. I have not had that many. 13's crazy.
Yeah. 12
13
is
relationships.
Yeah.
12
is reasonable.
12 is reasonable.
Really comfortable number.
Yeah.
Now, some might have been more serious than others, these relationships. But yes, it was 2 years back when we met again in a different city where we were both working, and we started hanging out together as he didn't really know anyone else in that city. OP was the only option. Oh, God. So
all falling into my plan.
Oh, boy. Well, one thing led to another, and we started dating. Over time, we got quite serious. Then just a week back, he proposed to me. And I said yes.
Wow. Kind of worked.
Fairy tale ending.
OP cornered this man in the market.
This is all going to work out perfectly, and nothing in the title will ruin what's about to happen.
No, not at all.
Nothing. Except yesterday. While at our engagement party, I was in the washroom from where I could hear the conversation outside in the parking area.
Oh, no. I just remember the title. I know you said. I just remember the title.
Lock in. Lock in.
Oh, jeez.
So I was in the washroom where I could hear the conversation outside in the parking area because there was a window in the washroom. I overheard a few of his friends discussing how my fiance is just settling for me as I worship him and do whatever he would ask.
Okay, but at least it's not the fiance saying that.
But
that's a win, I guess.
Well,
from what I thought.
I think what's happening here is, I overheard a few of his friends discussing how so it is, as far as we know, the friends just making this comment, not, I thought it was maybe like,
which still sucks, but could be worse. Could be worse.
That's true. Maybe they're just terrible friends and fiance is incredible.
Yeah, exactly. The apple fell very far from the tree.
Ooh, apple bottom.
Hopefully.
Jeez. Now, this is making me rethink our entire relationship, as I've always internally felt as if he wasn't really in the relationship as much as I was, because of little things like he wouldn't hold my hand on the sidewalk, or he would just respond to my I love you with thank you.
And you got married?
I'm not married yet.
You're about to get married and he won't hold your hand? This man is probably a little embarrassed to be seen with you.
Dude, I love you and thank you?
Wow.
Oh.
Why Well, how did you get this far?
Oh, yeah.
I'm confused.
I mean, is this the case of this is literally someone that Opie's been pining for
Yeah.
since they were children? And so she's like, I finally got it. The rose tinted glasses have been baking since child. It's deep red.
Yeah.
Can't see anything.
I feel like not from any fault of maybe, I mean, well, maybe fault, but like there's definitely a interest imbalance here. For sure.
Quite.
Sure.
Even the proposal, I had told him that I wanted to get married by 26. I wonder whether he actually wanted to marry me or it was just me pressuring him. He is a conventionally attractive guy, whereas I am slightly below average. And I don't even have the personality to make up for it. I really love him, but I don't think he loves me the same. Ever since yesterday, everything has been numb. I have no idea what to think or even do. I don't know what to do. We have an update 3 days later.
Well, it feels like right now she kind of already knows he's not as into her as she is into him.
Yes.
But maybe she's okay with that. Also, like in terms of the fiance hasn't said anything directly.
No actual word from the fiance.
Yeah, except thank you.
Those are the only two words. He's not holding her hand. He's not talking to us. He's just responding with thank you when we say it. I mean, that's a little bit of a smoking pew pew. You know?
Yeah.
I love you, thank you is crazy.
It doesn't feel like a balanced relationship. I don't know if that's I don't know if this is the one, OP.
Yeah, my ICU before this update is that I think OP will eventually get there, but I think it's going to take her some time for it to fully sink in that about the imbalance that this might not be the
one.
Well, 3 days later. So firstly, I'd like to thank you all for your advice. The day after posting this, I met up with my fiance. On meeting him, I told him how I have been feeling and did not mention the fact that I overheard his friends. On hearing that, he became emotional. He admitted to not being attracted to me physically, but liking me as a person. Usually when you say but, it's something that will help make the situation like
I mean, he likes her as a person.
Better.
That's something.
Dude.
That's what you say to like your acquaintances. Like you as a
like
person.
you as a person.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like you have your friends and then people you like as people.
Also, can we point out he's the one that proposed?
Why are you well, but maybe he doesn't care about being attracted to her.
Is this a life partnership?
Well, maybe it's a life partnership thing, and he's like, dude, like we're gonna be so old and so gray.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna be able to get it up, but like I'm just focusing on you as a person, not like trying to jump your bones all the time.
Wow,
maybe he's thinking like that.
So, it honestly did hurt. As in my head, I was expecting him to say something along the lines of him loving me, no matter what the others thought.
Ooh.
He still wants to marry me, and I still love him. He has promised to try harder and be more present in the relationship. He really has been trying these past few days. He texts me every single day and also reciprocates my I love yous.
Keyword trying.
Guys.
I just don't think that you like asking him to say I love you and respond to your texts is a signal that this is going to be a great relationship moving forward. He might be able to keep this up for a little bit, but like you're only going to really be able to keep this up for a lifetime if you're like if you're into it, if you're into it.
I told my mother and grandmother about everything that has been happening, to which their response was more on the lines of I should be grateful that someone like him is going for someone like me, and once we get married, he will change over time. Mom and grandma.
Oh.
Whose side
someone
are you
like
on?
him is marrying someone like me. Street rat, riff raff. I don't buy that. Whatever the Aladdin thing.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
It's just the
my heart.
the ugly street urchin marrying the prince. I feel like that's the setup that they're trying to.
About to hop on a flying carpet.
Yeah.
Talk to a freaking bird. So now this has put me in a tougher position, but honestly speaking, I think I will just go ahead with the wedding, as the other option is arranged marriage, and I'm not really keen on that. And he's really started putting in the effort. I do believe that he will actually fall for me gradually. Overall, the commenters felt facepalm.
Oh,
And we
yeah.
have another update 3 weeks later.
Oh man.
After the wedding?
There's no way they're still together. There's
It
no
could
way.
be.
There's no way.
The wedding could have already happened at this point.
They could be
Honestly.
married. They could be married.
They could be married.
I'm guessing they take a step back.
Well, Opie says, I've attached all my earlier posts. Hello, a lot has happened since my last update. I've been in 2 minds ever since that day. After posting that update, and I received a flood of negative responses, and I had a moment of realization that I had been avoiding.
Yes. Realization.
Here we go.
Let's go.
We're getting there. So I decided to have another conversation with him, one final talk where I laid out everything bare. I told him exactly how I felt, and I admitted the truth that I had known deep down, but had been too afraid to voice that he didn't really love me. He neither confirmed nor denied, just stayed silent. After that, I ended it. I called off the engagement and handed the ring back to him. He didn't fight me on it, didn't argue, didn't try to change my mind. He just sat there silent and only said, okay. That was it. No grand declarations, no desperate attempts to stop me, just, okay. And that, more than anything, solidified my decision. If he had truly loved me, wouldn't he have said something? Wouldn't he have at least tried? But 2 days after that conversation, he showed up at my place and started begging me to take him back. He began showing up at my place every other day with flowers and sending gifts. It's been 2 weeks of this now, and I don't know what to make of it. I wish I could say I was immune to it, that I was standing strong, but the truth is, I still love him.
Oh,
And after seeing him actually trying, something I had wanted for so long has me melting. I haven't yet taken him back, but I am so very close to doing so.
don't do it, Opie. I don't think it's a good idea.
I'm teetering on the edge here. The other day, he even showed up at my parents' place asking them to convince me. They already were not in favor of my decision to break off the engagement. Him trying just fueled them even more. There's constant pressure of taking him back through them. They see my decision to leave him as something illogical. By the way, if you want to make the most logical decision of your life, then enjoy 2,000 episodes of stories just like this. Full freaking episodes. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, your favorite pod app, search OK Storytime. Boom. They're all right there.
Do it.
Do it right now.
Do it.
But Sam, we do actually have a sizable chunk left
Ooh.
in the story.
Yeah.
Do we think that she's going to take him back? We're teetering right on the edge.
I want to believe that OP is going to make the right decision for her future happiness, which would be to not be with this person that, yeah, it seems he's doing an emotional sprint right now, right?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, let me show her how good I am. He's love bombing. And that bomb will not last long. This is not a slow stoked fire that will last the whole night. This is a instant, and then it's cold. It's cold in that relationship after that.
Usain Bolt, he's got to take a rest sometime.
Yep,
He
and he
can't
does.
run forever.
No, he can't.
Well, Opie goes on to say, I honestly don't know what to believe, and I'm just scared that once I take him back, he'll go back to his old ways.
Yep.
Smart. Plus, my mother has joined some matrimonial WhatsApp groups and keeps sending me pictures of guys urging me to meet up with them. I think she just wants me married off to whom doesn't matter. As I'm the only child, both of them don't have anyone else to focus on. I do not know what to do anymore. Not that I was ever clear about it in the first place. There's just constant pressure through my parents and relatives to get married, and it has really started to affect me. And there's some relevant comments.
Ooh.
Easttown 150 says, don't go back. Finally, first story I've read on Reddit where someone took self-respect more importantly. Don't reverse it, please. It's not like he started finding you attractive in 2 days, bro. Come on. Don't take him back. Lexibot says, girl, you did good. And the reality is that once you take him back, he's going to go back to his old ways sooner or later.
Yeah, that's what I think too.
He's just in the immediate shock of the breakup and nothing more. Once it passes, he's going to feel relieved. Believe me, if you take him back, his old doubts are going to creep up and you'll spend the rest of your life trying to convince him that you're good enough for him. You'll spend the rest of your life doubting yourself and your worth. He is going to erode your confidence and self-esteem away.
Oh,
Stay strong and let this pass. Give it time and stand your ground. Godzilla Jizz says, let's put some respect
so
on
nice
the
you
name.
have to say it twice.
Golly. Kudos to you for having self-respect and making a decision to end what you thought was settling for, quote unquote. On the other hand, I wonder why he settled for you if he had so much female attention. Maybe he sees something in you that he just hasn't found somewhere else. Physical attraction is necessary, but at the same time, slightly overrated. The shine of a beautiful woman or a handsome man wears off quickly when you get down to business of living your daily lives together, raising kids, supporting families, etc. Suggest talking to him to figure out why he wants you. You're not bound by anything and you've already broken the engagement. It costs you nothing to figure out whether it's worth salvaging. Good luck. I will just quickly say, while I am curious,
I'm curious.
I don't know if the curiosity is worth it, especially given how teetering on the edge OP is.
I think the curiosity is worth it because then we would get another update to
Oh.
this story, which
But-
I am very curious on. But for your own health, happiness, well-being, probably not worth it.
Yes. And that is, unfortunately,
Where
the
that
last of the
story
updates.
ends.
That's it.
My mom's fiance is a nightmare. I don't think I can go through with the wedding.
Wake up.
Well, this story takes place over 2 years ago. I had a funny idea to name this post Problems with Mommy Dearest, but changed my mind because it wasn't only about his mother.
Huh.
It was very much about him and mainly him. By the way, this comes from Fun Size Weirdo 27. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, I, 24 female at the time, was 22, got engaged to a guy I was friends with for 4 years after dating him for 4 months. Let's call him Hester. He was 23 male at the time.
What a name.
I was actually really close to him. Like I said, we were friends for 4 years. After being friends for so long, I ended up single and he decided to shoot his shot. I was excited because no one had really pursued me before. I pursued my exes first. And he was so sweet and funny, and I loved spending time with him. He seemed so genuine. Then I started dating him.
Here we go.
And for all of the 4 months, it was great, mostly.
Oh,
He even bought my dog Valentine's treats on Valentine's Day because he wanted to bring something for both his girls. Once he proposed, our relationship took a sharp turn in the worst ways and ultimately ended. For starters, he was an only child who came from a broken home. He was a miracle baby, but his parents split when he was young due to his dad abusing substances and booze. However, his mom was still in love with the dad, but left him to protect her son. Both parents remarried. Wow, that's a crazy love triangle, love
Right?
square.
dude.
Since his parents and some relatives, mainly his mom, will be important to the story, let's come up with names. I'll refer to his mom as Karen, shocker, his dad as Mike, his stepmom as Kristen, and his grandmom as Gail. For my family, let's call my mom Lynn, my dad Alan, and sister-in-law Kaylee. Now we are ready to get into the story. Let's start at him proposing. It was Mother's Day. Not kidding. And we decided that we wanted his parents and grandmom to meet my family. And they had the idea to do it on Mother's Day so we could also celebrate all the moms in our life. We planned to do it at my brother and sister-in-law's house because they had the most space in Oxford. I also hadn't met his grandmother yet, only his parents and step-parents. We babysat and had my nephew spend the night with us the night before and found out later because they needed to set up the proposal without him destroying it. So it was like a little hoodwink.
Ooh, grab browser.
We showed up the day of, and every car was there already, and I panicked about being late, which I hate and do not do. I was carrying my nephew in, and my mom quickly snatched him out of my arms. Before walking through the door, I was confused until I looked straight ahead. The doors were wide open, with a pathway of lanterns leading up to an arch where I saw Hester standing and looking at me. I was in shock, but gathered the courage to slowly walk to him. When I was walking, I saw people, our families, sitting off to the side watching as I made it up to him. When I got there, he was shaking, a bit choked up, and he literally couldn't get any words out except, "I love you," then dropped to his knee and said, "Will you be my wife?" That's cute.
It's cute, but
That's cute.
it's just we're foreshadowing.
It's cute.
What do you mean?
I don't
Just
like where
live in
we're
the
going.
cuteness, John. Don't think about the title.
Oh,
Just live in this
I'm
moment.
trying,
Be present
I'm
with me,
trying so
John.
Hard. I'm trying so
This is so
hard.
cute. This is cute and nothing else.
Ah.
I said yes and realized the song See the Light from Tangled, my favorite, an instrumental, was playing in the background. It was perfect.
Nice touch.
I turned to see his mom, grandmom, dad, and stepmom, as well as my parents, sister-in-law, niece, and nephew, best friend, her daughter, my goddaughter, and her mom. I was so excited and blindsided. Afterward, we sat and got a small gift from my parents, many congratulations, and they even gathered us and everyone else in a circle for a toast. Karen, Mike, and Kristen spoke, and I believe my dad did too. After that was over, Gail made a comment saying, "Hester, I used to see you all the time until you started dating her," and looked at me. I quickly said, "Get him," because I've been telling him I wanted to come meet you and he needed to reach out to you to set that up. That shut that down, thankfully. Wow, OP thinking on the feet.
Yep.
Then I insisted on celebrating the engagement later because that day was about the moms. I already had a plan and gifts for each mother there that were extra special, and I already felt a little awkward, excited but still awkward, that he decided to do it on a day that was not supposed to be about us. We hung out with the mom, sharing stories and such, and something shocking was said from Gail and Karen. They were very weirdly expressing how Hester's hands were so soft, and they needed to stay that way. That's why he wasn't allowed to cut grass at home, because the baby has such soft hands and needs to keep them that way. He can't be doing any hard labor like that.
What?
Weird.
What are you talking about?
That's gross.
Ugh.
Ugh. I don't like how that sounds. My sister-in-law, mom, and I were shocked and almost giggled because we thought she was kidding, until Gail's face changed, showed she was 100% serious. We couldn't believe it. I had major medical problems and was practically disabled at the time, so I know they could not have expected me to be cutting grass.
Oh, yeah.
No, ma'am. Anyways, we moved away from the conversation, just continued to spend time celebrating the mothers. After the party was over, I went back with Hester to spend time with his mom some more alone. We got back to her house, and she was showing me old pictures of Hester as a baby. As much as she was saying how cute he was and how great he was/is, she was also saying how young and in love she and Mike were and how she missed him. She remarried to someone else, but still was fawning over her ex-husband. She was still completely in love with him. It was a bit sad. The dad was happily remarried to Kristen and was now sober. It really looked like she was regretting divorcing him. Skip to later that night, Hester and I were alone again, and I asked him about the ring. The main diamond was from his mother's engagement ring from his dad, who they divorced. I felt that was bad luck, juju, whatever, so I got us and my mom to pray over the ring and us that we wouldn't turn out the same. Never go through the recycling machine of old rings and old wedding stuff. It's
Not good.
bad vibes.
Yeah.
Then I found out he didn't pay a single penny towards the ring.
Oh.
His mom paid for the entire thing. I told him if he couldn't afford the ring, that was one thing. I'm not a materialistic person, but mom had many family rings that he could have used, and I preferred that. And if he really wanted to get/buy a ring, don't get a real diamond, get a moissanite. It's cheaper and better clarity. That's what I would have wanted. But he ignored every part of that and did what he and his mom wanted. She swayed him into using the diamond and letting her pay for it. She was controlling it and him.
His soft little hands.
I think I see an ICU.
Oh.
I think an ICU. I mean, I think we're getting a classic dynamic of the mother-in-law is terrible and super controlling, and the boyfriend has no spine. And so he's just being puppeted,
Right.
doing whatever his mom, whatever mommy asks, and it completely ruins the relationship
Because
he can't
it's
stand
like,
up to his mom.
What changed when they got engaged? Now, when you're engaged, that's when mama gets in the mix.
Mhm.
She's like, oh, this is official now? Let me go crazy.
Mm-hmm.
Let's turn this Karen up to an 11.
Yeah. And
Okay.
I think we're gonna get some Karen puppeteering
Here we
coming
go.
in. So that was only the beginning. 2 months after we got engaged, we were hanging out talking like normal, and then he said something that stopped me in my tracks. He said, "I regret proposing."
Well, tell me how you really feel.
I was so thrown off because I thought he loved me and we're doing good, but apparently not. I asked why to please explain, and he said he felt rushed and trapped like he had to, like he didn't have a choice. I was so confused because even when we had talked about getting married, he was just as excited as I was, saying how it wouldn't be long before making it official. So it was definitely his choice. I started thinking about his mom, her mentioning how she wasn't ready for him to leave the nest and how she thought neither of them were ready. She also started getting really weird, telling me different things about him, like how he likes his chicken cooked, what he will and won't eat, when he likes to have his alone time, what detergent to use for his laundry, how to separate it, how to fold it, and so much more. John, what do we say?
Ladies and gentlemen, if a man's mama is folding his laundry, run.
Send him packing.
Run.
Send him packing.
Dude, this has been coming up again and again.
Again and
bro.
again, dude.
The theory
golden
is proving
rule.
itself. It's
Yeah.
a golden rule.
It
It's
really
so
is.
good. So just trying to help so you don't have problems. But I'm not adopting him and becoming his new mommy. I'm going to be his wife, not his servant.
Yes.
We'd be a team. That was until I saw him smiling. I waited until we were alone again to explain, I'm not your mom, nor will I ever be your mom. I am not marrying you to become a servant. Now, of course, I will do things for you and take care of you, but not in a motherly way, doing everything for you. We are a team. That's what we agreed to previously. He acted as though he understood, but looked sad. I was baffled by how entitled and childish he was acting. I had no idea what I was getting myself into. We started looking at wedding venues and agreed on one that we absolutely loved. We went back and brought his mom, and she said, it's a bit far, don't you think? Suddenly, he didn't love the venue anymore.
Here we
He
go.
wanted to use another venue. We toured one. She came with us and to see that she loved it. It was more expensive for so much less, not even a rehearsal dinner. The other venue was the exact same price, but offered a lot more. Weddings are expensive, so that was such a help. Plus, the owners were so kind and willing to help even more. The venue his mom wanted had basically nothing for the same price, and it was just not worth it to be closer. I finally talked to her, explaining all of that and even showing distances on the map, and she said, oh, I guess it actually isn't that far. It just felt like such a long drive in the car. I explained how my dad took back roads so we could see the other local things as well, so she understood and agreed that the better venue was the one we had originally picked. That was a big rigmarole just to get back to where we started.
Come on.
Ugh. Well, guess what? He was back on board all of a sudden. A month goes by with some tension, and he says it again. I regret proposing.
My man is repeating the same mistakes.
Why is he trying to hurt me? Who says that? I couldn't understand why he was saying this, but then I think it clicked. She was telling him he wasn't ready, and maybe even guilting him into living with her, next to her, or having her live with us. I'm not 100% sure what she said to him to this day, but I know she did something. When I asked him straight up, did Karen say something? He put his head down and went silent, like a little baby boy he is. Slowly, I started realizing just what I feared. He would not do anything other than what his mom said or suggested. She was mommy dessert,
Oh, God.
and that was not going to change. I suggested going to couples therapy and individual therapy so that he could break free and become an adult, his own person, without her ruling everything he said and did. He didn't exactly like the idea and asked for a bit to think about it. Side note, an extra thing happened a few weeks into our engagement. We agreed we didn't believe in divorce. We also agreed that signing a prenup was basically a preparation for divorce, a just in case. No! So if we agreed we didn't believe in divorce, we had no need for one.
Here we go.
Fast forward to month 3.5 of our engagement, and he asked me to sign a prenuptial agreement, which I think is an okay thing to do, especially with as much up and down as you guys have. I lost it. I was hurt, confused, and done. More gaslighting and toxic behavior from him and his mom had me at a breaking point. nothing was going to change. So I broke down and ended it. Really quick, there's nothing wrong with a prenup, but a prenup combined with everything else is what is wrong.
Sam is pro prenup, ladies and
I'm
gentlemen.
pro prenup, dude.
Yeah.
Ain't no chump.
Yeah. It's
To quote one of your heroes.
not my here. How did this get turned back around on me? Wait, what? What's going on?
Dude, you could easily quote one of his heroes.
Bro, he knows,
See, I
he
won't even
knows
go
none
there.
of his quotes.
I won't even go there. Yeah, don't, dang it. I like electrical vehicles. Boom, got him.
So I broke down and ended it. I explained that I couldn't marry his mother because marrying him is marrying his mom. I couldn't be baited or negotiated into doing something that was against my beliefs. I wasn't going to tolerate the verbal and mental abuse anymore. He did many other things I'd rather not say, but I knew all I needed to understand what marriage with him would have been. And after saying twice, I regret proposing, when I broke up with him, he tried to love bomb me and hold me hostage in the moment so that I couldn't break up with him. He said he was basically showing up at my house and work because he was not going to take no for an answer. He was not losing me. And by the way, you should never lose us by listening to our full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or your favorite podcast app and search OK Storytime. And there's another relevant update. But John, do you think OP is making the right move and breaking up with his mom? Or, I mean, not his mom, him.
Absolutely, without a doubt. I mean, it's just so insane. He says he regrets proposing to you twice. Well, where's the regret now? Congratulations. I gave you what you want. You can now poof.
Yeah.
Get rid of the regret.
Get rid of the
but
regret.
no, now you're coming back. Now you're doing this. Blah, 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 blah. No.
He's a spineless waffle, that man is. He's waffling. Bloop, bloop, bloop.
From
And
this,
it's a floppy. Yep.
this.
Noodle spine. Noodle
Nothing.
spine. But let's get into this final update. So
There we go.
he started out so sweet, but boy, was he the opposite. Love bombing, gaslighting, manipulation, abuse, stalking. It's all real. Unfortunately, it's common now. But you do not have to tolerate that. You are important and deserve to be treated as such. So am I the a-hole for not only canceling my wedding, but breaking up with my fiance? John, what do you think?
Not at all.
Not at all. But that is where that story and this
I refuse to attend my niece's wedding because I do not like her fiance.
it's a good reason.
So for context, there's a 21-year age gap between myself and my oldest brother. This made it so me, 28 female, and his closest daughter, 23 female, are very close in age and have grown up very close. By the way, this comes from proper Marigine 4916, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. I am very much the favorite aunt and have always considered us friends, not just family. She comes to me when she has a problem that she doesn't want to talk to her parents about. She tells me about her boyfriend and friend problems. She would call me when she was in college and needed to be picked up from a party or a bar. And I was the first person she told when her boyfriend proposed, calling me at 6 a.m. in the morning because she was so excited to tell me. My niece and her fiance have been together for 3 years. He is 1 year younger than her. She just graduated in May 2024, and he is on track to graduate in May 2025. Their wedding is scheduled for a week after his graduation. He is studying biomedical and microengineering, but he's more on the introverted side. He has some dry humor. Since she introduced him to the family, we could tell they were serious, so tried to be as welcoming as possible. We invited him to family events, trips, got him birthday and Christmas presents, and generally tried to get to know him. Whenever he's around our family, he acts annoyed all the time, like it's painful to spend time with us. He expects my niece to stay by his side the whole time, getting irritated if any of the little cousins ask her to play, including my children. For context, my niece is my children's godmother. He also expects her to leave at the same time as him, even if they drive separately.
Ooh, sounds a little controlling.
So yeah,
He's at the very least socially awkward.
Yeah, sounds like he hates kids, hates the family, and is not fun. My eldest brother constantly defends him, saying that he's just introverted and that the size of our family makes him uncomfortable. He insists that the fiance is different in smaller groups or one-on-one, but I haven't seen it, not even when it was just the two of them with my husband and me. He talks to everyone like we're stupid and is extremely condescending. After they got engaged, things got worse. Since my niece and I are close, I expected to be asked to be part of the wedding, but she didn't ask me. I was a little hurt, but I let it go because it's her special day and her choice. Then his family planned the engagement party and didn't invite any of my family. She told me that it was just a small affair with only their parents and siblings, but I later found out that she had lied when I saw the pictures on social media. So I confronted her about it, but she said she didn't plan the guest list, so I tried to let it go.
I mean, even if she didn't plan the guest list, that just even more means that the fiance is controlling.
It means like he literally completely had full control of the guest list.
I don't like
Insanity.
this.
Insanity.
Red flag after red flag.
So many red flags.
When your partner tries to control who you hang out with, that is a red flag.
Yes.
Unless in the case where like the friends that you're hanging out with are like causing you to do bad things, or like, I don't know, like infidelity or substances, or I don't know, robbing banks.
Later, she didn't invite my mom or me to the dress fitting, saying that there was a limited number of people allowed and she wanted to make sure that his mom and sisters could come. At that point, I told her it really seemed like she was trading our family for his. She denied it, but when I later asked how they planned to spend the holidays, he said they'd be with his family. The last straw came in December and January. In December, she invited my husband and me over to dinner. I was excited because she hadn't initiated hanging out since her engagement. Dinner was nice, though a little awkward since conversation with her fiance wasn't smooth, but overall pleasant enough. When the check came, my husband took care of it after it sat on the table for about 15 minutes and they didn't offer to split or pay, even though they had invited us. Oof.
That's crazy. You, if anything, the inviter should pay.
Yes. Yeah. And just like not addressing it at all. Then, when we were ready to leave, they asked if we could have a serious conversation. I was confused about why we hadn't talked about it during the meal, but they proceeded to ask us for money to help pay for their wedding.
The wedding that you're cutting us out of? Yeah, no, this is, I mean, like, again, it's crazy when people with no social tact go and try to pull something like this. There's like, like you would at least hope there was some like thin veil.
Yeah.
But there's not even a thin veil.
The thin veil was like, I grace you with my presents for dinner that you bought.
Now pay.
She said that it was turning out to be more expensive than they had expected and that they needed help since their parents didn't make enough. I asked why they didn't wait until he had a job instead of just an unpaid internship, another great question, or until she got a full-time job instead of a part-time one. I wasn't saying no, I just wanted to understand why they were rushing the wedding, which was only 8 months after the engagement. That conversation turned into an argument about financial responsibility. Her fiance said that if we could help, we should because it's family. He then added that we had plenty of time to resave after my husband explained that a lot of money was invested for our children's future. You can't demand access to other people's money. This should be a very simple concept. We offered $2,000 as a small contribution, but then my niece brought up my savings from my deceased husband's life insurance. Oh God.
Oh my God.
I asked if she really thought bringing up my passed away husband was going to help her case. After that, we repeated our offer of $2,000, which crazy it's still on the table.
Is a lot.
Yeah.
2,000 a lot.
And her fiance asked if that was really all we would give them.
Ungrateful. Again, if you're going to ask for money, you could employ just some nice, like if you are nice to people, usually they will give you more money. And right now you are being a massive, poopy head.
Yes.
I didn't want to swear.
Poopy head behavior.
Yeah,
for
this
sure.
is poopy head behavior.
Yeah.
Be nice and maybe you are being the meanest possible and you're still getting $2,000.
And still pushing it.
And still pushing.
Like, don't fumble the bag. So we withdrew the offer entirely.
Good.
We left enraged. Before Christmas, my mom invited them over to bake since the fiance enjoys baking desserts and bread. He was so rude to my mom, she came over to my house afterwards for some grandkid time and tea because she was so sad. My dad was furious, and then neither my niece nor her fiance came to Christmas. At a family get-together around New Year's while driving two of my brothers and their wives home, we had a conversation about how sick we all are of the fiance and how we wished they weren't getting married. Finally, in January, it was my parents' 50th wedding anniversary. I had planned a party for them, and afterwards we were taking them to Mexico. A trip that was group financed by my siblings and me. The fiance was only coming to the party since he couldn't miss school for Mexico. The party was fancy. RSVP invitations, a private venue, catered and semi-formal dress code. A week before, my niece texted me to say her fiance wasn't coming because of a fraternity event.
You're going to miss this fancy.
Your in-laws' 50th wedding anniversary. Your in-laws' 50th wedding anniversary for a frat party. I told her that this was an important family event and that I was rude to back out of an RSVP'd event without a good reason.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's an RSVP'd event. That's also like important.
Yeah.
It's less that it's like the 50th anniversary. It's more that it's the RSVP.
Well, but like, so like catering and everything, they're paying for the meals.
Exactly.
And all that.
Speaking of, did you do it?
I did it. So I made it clear that I didn't consider his fraternity event a good enough excuse, especially since he had known about the party for a long time. She said she talked to him, but I never heard back, so I wasn't sure if he was coming. The day of the party, he showed up late, wearing a t-shirt, jeans, and backward cap. My mom, still trying to be nice, said she was glad he was there, and he responded like I had a choice.
That is D-bag. Wow. Like I had a choice.
He then sat at his table the whole time, not speaking to anyone or participating in any activities. Halfway through, we were taking a family picture and invited him to be in it. He said, "This isn't my family."
I mean, it won't be soon. You're
Yeah.
about to get in a divorce.
Yeah, it won't be.
Wishful thinking.
My mom started crying and excused herself to the bathroom. I pulled him aside and snapped. I told him that if he didn't want to be part of this family, he should get the F out. I said I was tired of his attitude, disrespect, and tired of pretending to like him and told him to leave. My niece went to follow him. I told her that if she left with him, she could forget about coming to Mexico with us, which, just super quick, I'm afraid of that because then she can get more
Isolated.
And look, it might be a in the heat of the moment emotional response, right? And maybe later she's like, I maybe shouldn't have lashed out like that. But that's what I would be afraid
point.
of.
That's a really good point. I think what this person I think OP's niece is probably feeling more and more isolated. Maybe she's being manipulated by this guy. This is a lot of conjecture, but regardless, what she needs right now is she needs you to bring her closer.
Yes.
And if anything, say like, hey, I still want you to come on this Mexico trip. Please come, but you cannot bring him.
Yes. Yeah. Clear line. Like, hey, we accept you. We're here for you. Like, keep that line of communication and love open, but hard line on the fiance where it's like we're not gonna deal with this. But she also made it clear that she was upset that he had been punted out of the event. The adults in the family, about 12 of us, sat down with her to air out our grievances about the fiance so she could understand the extent of the problem. She still defended him, saying that we didn't know him well enough and that we made him uncomfortable. How much more do you need to get to know
The thing is, that probably is true in terms of like the social anxiety thing we were talking about. Like he probably does feel uncomfortable, and his defense mechanism is being a D-bag to extraordinary levels. And she's seeing like this whole other side to him of like this insecure side. He's showing this doesn't excuse his behavior by any means, but I understand why she's saying that because it's probably true. But I think the rebuttal that the family should say is like, who cares if he's insecure or like uncomfortable if he's acting this way? If you being uncomfortable makes you want to punch babies, I'm taking you away from my baby.
Yeah. You can't let someone do a
heinous
behavior
act
because there's an excuse. So OP says she still defended him, saying we didn't know him well enough and that we made him uncomfortable. After that conversation, I told my husband that I just couldn't act like nothing was wrong anymore. So we declined on the RSVP to the wedding. She texted me asking why we said no, and I met up with her for coffee. I explained to her that I didn't feel that I could support her marriage and that he wasn't a good person, and I felt like her independence and everything that was special about her was disappearing behind his expectations. She disagreed and told me that I just didn't understand. She then told me that if I really cared about her, that I would suck it up and come to her wedding. So am I the a-hole? Should we go to the wedding? And was I wrong for telling her in the first place? We have an update, but maybe we can quickly answer these. First, is OP the a-hole?
No, she needed to put her foot down at some point.
Yeah. It became her circus, so it was beyond her circus by the time she stepped in.
And for the wedding thing, I think that this guy is not good for her at all.
Yes.
Is taking action that is trying to isolate her. He's being rude and like mean to the family. He needs to go figure his stuff out independent of OP's niece. But in the same kind of vein as what you were saying, like you want to have an open line of communication. I think you can voice like, I don't think you should marry this guy, but I'm going to be there for you.
Yes.
To make sure that you know you have someone you can talk to. And hopefully maybe she'll use that one day. But
yeah. One angle of going to the wedding is just constantly communicating to her, I'm there for you. I'm there for you. I'm there for you. To hopefully when the time is right and when, niece snaps out of it, she knows that she can go back to OP versus
exactly.
Like, maybe if she gets the impression that she's closed out, she's like, oh, now I have no one to turn to. So I would say OP is not the a-hole for not going to the wedding because one, I still think she can do things like going out for coffee and show her that she's there for her. And then also two, that's putting themselves in harm's way, quote unquote, because now they have to
That's a good point.
potentially deal with him at the wedding like they had to deal with him at this event.
Yeah.
We have an update, ladies and gentlemen. So my family is very religious, and so niece and her fiance do not live together or have overnights, and she still lives with her parents with a curfew, God, as long as she's under their roof. So while I agree with the assessment that he's setting her up to be isolated, they aren't currently in a situation or the privacy for financial or emotional abuse. I do also think that he is a self-absorbed person. She agreed to sit down and talk with me again, and I was able to better articulate my concerns for her future and what she is setting herself up for and my concerns about him. We are still not going to the wedding. I explained to her that part of it is because I love her, that ultimately it's supposed to be a special day for her, and that with the way I feel about him, that I would object to the union in front of everyone as opposed to privately. So I told her whatever she chooses, that I am always specifically in her corner, and that I hope that she will still want to spend time with me and my kids, but more than that, to know that she can come to me for any time for anything, which is, I think, exactly what we were saying. Let her know that you're there
awesome.
for her. And that for her sake, I do hope that I'm wrong about him. By the way, there's one thing that I'm never wrong about. That you can listen to full episodes and stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts. By the way, just cracked the top 100 comedy podcasts on Apple Podcasts.
We are a top
Just
100.
Cracked it.
Yep.
Oh, so go check out the podcast. Search OK Story Time on your favorite pod app. So, getting into this ending, we did get her a few things off the registry that I knew were more for her than for him. She said that she would think about everything, so we will see what happens between then and now. And to the person who said that they thought I didn't think it through on what this might mean for the future, I can assure you I did. My family means the world to me, and I don't want to hurt her or my relationship with her, but we got to the point where I couldn't stay quiet and just pretend like there wasn't anything wrong. Thanks to everyone for the input. It really helped me organize my thoughts and think everything through with everything that's happened.
Honestly, kind of like a cash money response. I feel like that's exactly. I've been saying that a lot. But I kind of love where we ended. You know, it keeps the door open, but says that you don't like the relationship.
Yeah, OP ended in the perfect place. Shout out to OP.
My wife walked away from her son. Now his fiance wants to meet us. Walk back. By the way, trigger warning, there are mentions of domestic violence. So if you know yourself, please exit if that's going to get to you. So I, 32 male, met my wife, Aisha, 38 female, 9 years ago on the beach in a country where I got a co-op job at a software development company. I won't lie, I was an overconfident kid who approached her even though she was clearly married. Whoa! And they're with friends in a country where things could have gone really wrong. Where is this going? Is that overconfidence or is that something else? Honestly, she was just so beautiful and had an amazing body, and maybe I was wrong, but I did go for her. By the way, this comes from Eclectic Glow, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So I only found out months after things developed between us that the only reason that she let them was to use me to escape from her husband. And it made sense because she only let things get physical after she learned I would move back home to Canada once my co-op ended. She came to Canada with me under the pretense of visiting her aunt and pursuing the process of seeking asylum due to domestic violence.
and she stayed with me because she felt safe. Long story short, we've been married for a while now, and we've been talking about kids, and she wants them, I want them, and my parents want them. We were finally about to start trying, except a situation with her son, Zafar, 20 male, from her first marriage has come up. She's not seen Zafar in person. She left and hasn't talked to him in about 5 years. Anyway, he's getting married in August, and even though he hasn't reached out to Aisha at all, his fiance, a girl named Alina, has and wants to meet her when she visits family in Canada at the end of the month. The idea of meeting Alina has made my wife spiral. She absolutely refuses to even consider the idea of meeting with this girl. She will not go anywhere except work. She won't let me touch her, and she's barely talking. Wow. Yesterday, I found Aisha literally holding a framed photo of Zafar in bed and just crying. I know she has regrets, and I know she hates the way that she left his father, but she would have been unalived had she stayed with him. I told her again yesterday that it wouldn't hurt to at least meet the girl, and I'd go with her if she needed. And she just yelled at me and said I was being an a-hole about it, and that part of her life is over and she just needs to accept it. There are some comments on this so far. OP on the culture that he and his wife are from. I am Egyptian, so while it may not directly be my culture, it's very close. Same people, same religion, different desert. I understand the nuances well enough. OP on why his wife stopped contacting her son. I don't know why my wife's son didn't reach out, but I suspect that he thinks she hates him for trying to end things. Pretty much about 5 years ago, her son Zafar had a huge argument with his father about her, and it led to a fight. Zafar kept trying to phone my wife after that, but she was on a flight at the time and couldn't answer. He took a lot of pills after that and would have passed away had his father not found him right away. Wow. When my wife phoned back, his father answered in the hospital and blamed her and said that the next time he wouldn't save him if my wife kept in contact with him. Wow. My wife is still terrified of her ex-husband, so she did stop trying to contact her son. I wouldn't be surprised if her ex said something similar to their son to get him to stop contacting her. But this is his son's fiance, so it's a loophole. Maybe her son is using it. I don't know. I hope so. But we do have an update.
I feel like I need much more information.
Yeah, I feel like that was a small story.
I mean, like right now, all we know is that her son is kind of dealing with a lot, and OP is kind of encouraging her to get back into contact with him.
Yeah, I don't know if OP is necessarily like rooting for it. He seems to just be like an observer.
Yeah.
Sort of either way, I guess. This is a complicated situation.
It's a complicated situation.
Wow. But we do have an update. So my update is a mixed bag, I guess. I didn't want to update, but the truth is I don't have anyone to talk to and just thought this might help. The first is that I let the matter lie at first. I figured that maybe we'd get back to it around the time that my wife's future daughter-in-law, Alina, had actually come to Canada. I mean, there's no point in stressing my wife about it right now. And that did help. So I guess you're right. OP does think that his wife should meet Alina.
Reach back.
A week ago, we found out that my wife, Aisha, is pregnant, and we are both over the moon about it. Oh my gosh. Congratulations.
A lot going on in your life right now.
So much happening. I mean, we wanted to start trying, but didn't know it already happened. Something I didn't mention in my last post is that my wife feels guilt over me. There is an age gap between us, and we got together when I was barely an adult. To me, I don't see anything wrong with it because I initiated things, no matter how dangerous that could have turned out for me. I pursued her. To her, though, she feels often that she used me and used the attraction I had to her to escape, and it was wrong of us to take things further. But I don't feel that way, and honestly, I think she has no reason to feel guilty. That is a common thing, though, with people who are in relationships. When they get out of it, they'll see things that are similar to their partner and they get nervous that like that's what they're doing too. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
But obviously things are complicated. I'm sure that's not the case, OP.
No. Obviously, it's always good to be like aware and stuff of how you're acting and stuff, but
right. Just know that like you don't need to feel as bad about it as your does.
Exactly.
When we found out she was pregnant, she told me that for the first time she feels like this was meant to be. It actually made me forget about Alina, and 4 days ago when Aisha and I came home from work, it turns out that she came to visit with her aunt and my mother let them in. I was a bit worried that Aisha was going to panic or have a breakdown, but she was actually really calm and composed. And when Alina called her Ummi, or Arabic for mother, she got such a big smile on her face. I know it was genuine too because I don't think she expected that kind of respect. It turns out that Zafar sent Alina to give my wife an invite to their wedding, and the only reason he didn't come himself is because he was very busy with work. But he's planning on coming with her again in August to do wedding shopping. Apparently, Zafar is so busy because he's taking over the family business, because his father had a stroke and all of his other half-siblings are 10 and under, so it's on him. Wow. When Alina's aunt left to take her kids somewhere, she had a conversation with my wife about her ex-husband. It turns out that Zafar really is not treating him well at all, no matter how much his stepmother or aunts or even his half-siblings argue with him. According to Alina, he's the calmest and nicest and sweetest person unless the topic turns to his father, and nobody can convince him to treat him better. That seems pretty fair.
Yeah.
Like, she told my wife that he has so much hate for him that he once said that the only reason he hates that the stroke happened is that now he can't unalive him.
Wow. But like, I'm sure he went through a lot being like alone with his father.
Definitely, yeah,
Yeah. Like, very complicated relationship.
totally understandable. He even threatened once to ban his half-siblings from attending his wedding and the reception because his stepmother tried to get him to do better by his father. Wow. Okay. His stepmother tried to get him to do better. So I guess he remarried.
Like, try to improve the relationship between him and his father, I think.
Right. I'm just trying to think who the stepmother is.
We don't know. I guess he must have remarried.
My wife and Alina tell her the things that her ex-husband did to Zafar, even though she didn't want to, and I won't say them because I just can't imagine somebody doing that stuff to their own child.
Ugh.
Alina asked if my wife could talk to Zafar because she doesn't want him so filled with hate, even if his father does deserve it for torturing him for his entire life. My wife told Alina that she doesn't feel like she can talk to her son on the phone after so long, and when he comes, he'll stay with us and she will talk to him about it then, and that she'll convince him for her. Alina left with her aunt soon after, and it's weird because even though my wife told Alina that, when we were alone at night, she told me that she's happy that Zafar is doing that, and that his father deserves it. She cried a lot that night and told me that she'd be forgiving if it was just her that was hurt by her ex-husband, but that she can't stand that her son had to suffer so much under him and hopes that her ex-husband keeps reaping what he sowed.
Well, that's just an incredibly hard place for kind of Alina. I get what she was doing, but a really hard place for Alina to put OP's wife in, of saying, like, I need you to talk to your son to convince him to kind of forgive this man who has been awful to both you and him.
I don't understand why she wants him to forgive him.
I think probably what she's meaning is like he's very angry. It's like affects him a lot and stuff. But the answer is not for his mom to convince him to, forgive his dad. The answer is for him to go to therapy so that he can kind of release that anger and aggression out of his life rather than have a relationship with his father.
Yeah, I absolutely do not think that like he needs to be kinder or treat his father better to solve this.
No. Cut off your father, honestly.
Yeah, like I do agree with that like having that hate and anger is like, not good for you.
Not healthy, not healthy.
Even though it's like understandable, but it's still good to like try to cope with it in some healthier way. But I really don't think trying to put any effort into that relationship is the answer at all. I admitted that seemed wrong to say, but she told me that I'd understand when our son is born. Whatever. And now I don't know why she's so certain it'll be a boy, but hey. By the way, I am so certain that you can always find full episodes with more stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, and just search OK Storytime.
I've never been more certain of anything.
There is a little bit more of the story, but do we have any final thoughts before we roll into it?
I think OP, you just kind of have to be there as support. Because, this is terrifying. Even knowing that the father is in any way around in any shape or form, that must be incredibly scary for your wife. So just like giving her support and making sure that she knows that she's safe and like maybe getting her into therapy if she's not already and kind of just being there as she restarts this bond with her and her son.
Yeah, I agree. That's really all you can do. But there is a little bit more. So Alina's flight home is today and my wife is the one dropping her off. In fact, they were inseparable for the last few days. My wife has spent hours talking with her and just learning about her studies, and about her relationship with Zafar. She loves that girl so much already, except every time before she went to meet her, she had a mini panic attack almost. I asked about it, but she said that it's like she has a daughter and it's a good dream and she's worried that she's going to wake up. She even said maybe it would have been better if she had been allowed to move on because she's so afraid of getting hurt again. And there are some comments. I just realized this. The quote that says, he took a lot of pills after that and would have passed away had his father not found him right away. This info was from the dad, right? Why do we all believe the harmful dad that told her, I'm answering from the hospital because our son tried to commit, etc., etc.? Do you know what I mean? Had his father not found him right away? Oh, what a hero. That's actually a good point, honestly.
Scary point.
He totally could be lying. Someone replies, yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if there was no self-harm attempt and it was just a lie made up by the father to cause maximum emotional damage to his wife. Yeah, there's so many different ways that he could have lied about it. Like, it could have just not happened at all.
He could have just been, I don't know, had like an accident, like a car accident or something.
Or he literally wasn't even in the hospital. Maybe even employed to get her to come crawling back. And that's the end of it.
Yeah.
That's like such a terrible position to be in.
So difficult. She got herself out of that situation and that,
But that's the end of that story. I took in my fiance's mother. Now she competes with me.
Ooh, you gotta have a gauntlet, like just like who makes the best dishes, who
Yep.
can like just do the coolest like backflip,
Yep.
and who, winner take all.
Trigger warning, there is mentions of parental abuse in this story. So if you might get triggered by that, please carry on to another story or episode. The players, me, 22 female, fiance, Eddie, 25 male, mother-in-law, Dana, 55 female, sister-in-law, 1, Sharon, 23 female, sister-in-law 2, Carrie, 21 female, and father-in-law, Eli, deceased. And then finally, Bob, 35 male, our friend and tenant. Everyone write that down. Take some notes.
I just remember Bob.
Yeah, we got
And
Bob, me, Eddie, Dana, Sharon, Carrie, Eli, and Bob.
All right.
We will refer back just like a map in the beginning of a fantasy series.
All right, I know Bob. That's it.
By the way, this comes from Deleted, and if you want to submit your own stories, just go to the r/OK Storytime subreddit. So, long story short, I come from a very harmful background. I went no contact with my parents last year. My now fiance Eddie opened my eyes to the traumatic and helped me escape them. I was diagnosed with bipolar disorder earlier this year and am in therapy. I take antidepressants and am working on getting disability. Before I went no contact, I inherited a decent amount of money from a grandparent, which I spent on a nice house in another city away from my family. Other than my younger sister, who is still a minor, my family is not involved in my life. I met Eddie in college and have been with him for 3 years. We plan on eloping later this year. Eddie always had a strained relationship with his family, especially his sister Sharon, but I never really understood why. Sharon hated me upon meeting me due to a bad first impression, and despite living on the other side of the country and only meeting me 3 times, she obsessively trashes me whenever my name is brought up. Carrie and I got along well enough until we had a falling out, and she accused me of my fiance into submission because he took my side. I realized a lot of our relationship was us doing things for her and her using and insulting us, so I cut her out of my life. Get her out of there.
Big old cuts.
Both of his sisters are self-absorbed people, and we want no contact with either of them. Eddie's father, Eli, passed away this year. His family had always been poor, and his mother, Dana, was left in a lot of debt. I gave her $5,000 to help her with the funeral and her debts and invited her to move in with us when our house was foreclosed, since neither of his sisters was willing to take her in. Dana seemed nice enough. We had a lot of things in common on the surface, and I figured we'd get along fine. I continued to financially support her, took her to events, took her on our dates, bought her dinner, and bought her various gifts. I spent a lot of my time with her trying to build a relationship. I noticed that there always seemed to be a large distance between Dana and Eddie, but when I questioned her, she wouldn't admit to anything. Then I started noticing her behavior. When Eddie and I went out on a date alone, she would get huffy and short with me afterwards. She would bring her rowdy friends over every so often when I would sleep in on Sunday, and she expected me to run to buy them food. Like, be a servant for this woman? Come on now.
She got compliant. Like Dana was
Yeah.
like, oh, this is my life now.
Yeah. No.
OP's my little maid.
No. She never seemed to believe the stories about my, even though both my fiance and sister corroborated them. When we did anything together, she would obsessively try to beat me, sometimes grinding in games for days on end only to brag to me. She had to be the best at everything. Whenever I messed up, she would snipe at me and criticize me behind my back to Eddie, who told me everything. When Eddie paid more attention to me than her, she would get upset and act catty towards me. She's literally like a regular user. She needs a constant supply of attention, or she goes into withdrawal and gets petty. We each have 2 cats, and she would obsessively try to get my cats to like her better and get jealous if her cats approached me. She would always sit at the head of the table and sit me furthest away with Eddie in the middle. Whenever I asked her to clean or do anything, she would either refuse or get hostile with me. She complained about everything I did, from cooking to cleaning to my personality. At one point, I ended up in the hospital due to my bipolar disorder. We asked her not to tell anyone. Now, Dana has a very unhealthy relationship with Sharon. She literally lives vicariously through her. Of course, Eddie overheard her telling Sharon about it. She even put the phone speaker on when we were all in the living room and allowed Sharon to trash me over the phone. Sharon is obsessed with having the first grandchild. I am child-free. And one time, Dana kept telling her, "You will give me my first grandchild," while she was witching about me. When I confronted her about it later, she told me that Sharon just tells it like it is. Dana pretty much requires me to drive her everywhere since she just doesn't like driving. However, she's willing to drive 30 miles away to go see her friends, yet she won't drive 2 miles to get me my medicine when I'm not able to drive. Additionally, due to Eddie wrecking my car earlier this year, as well as my furnace not working anymore, I ended up running out of money and am working on getting disability. Despite my supporting her for several months and her still owing me several thousand, Dana complains that I am an irresponsible leech. I barely ask her for anything other than a minimal amount of food, and she still complains.
All right.
Come
Yes.
on. Nothing is good enough for this woman.
Yeah, so nothing will please you, and everything you do is right.
Yep.
Cool.
Cool. Great.
Cool.
She refused to pay me back most of the money, stating that she was saving up for bankruptcy. She has gotten close and yet blown her bankruptcy fund several times on stuff like grilling supplies and a trip out of state, yet I'm the bad guy for asking for $50 a month when she still owes me $4 grand.
All right, this is where we go and talk to your husband.
Yes.
And be like, so, your mom,
Yeah.
what's going on?
You gotta step in, guy. You gotta start setting boundaries with this woman because I can't.
Yeah.
She has started paying me as of 2 months ago, but she complains about it constantly. Probably the biggest reason I have a problem is that Dana is flat out neglectful to her cats. Their litter box is always dirty, and she rarely changes their food and water. She doesn't bother to clean their pee and throw up off the floor, especially not if I tell her to do it.
She's
She
literally a child.
really is an irresponsible child.
No, I don't want to do that. No. And you wonder why the
gross.
cats don't like you.
Yeah, like, come on. Her room can be smelled from the kitchen, former duplex. The whole side of the house smells terrible. One time, a cat peed in her shoes and she left it for 4 days because I told her to clean it. Some of the puke stains near the cat bowls have been there for months. I even found cockroaches in her room feeding on it. That's disgusting. Oh my gosh.
Dana's so high and mighty
Yeah.
of being told what to do, or at least like, hey, there's puke on the floor and there's cockroaches eating
Yeah.
it. And she's like, what do you want me to do about it? Clean it? I'm not going to do that.
Yeah. She's willing to live in absolute filth just to prove a point.
That's crazy.
Crazy. Our new lodger, Bob, who was Dana's friend for years, told me that Dana was out of line and that there were things going on in their household that I didn't previously know about. He told me that Eli used to get physical with Eddie and that various other bad things happened. To cut to the chase, I confronted Eddie about this behavior. He defended his mom at first, but eventually broke down and admitted that he was afraid of the consequences of going against her. Eddie is very closed off about his feelings. He revealed to me that his sister Sharon basically was psychotic and at one point broke down a solid wood door to get to him.
Like the Shining kind of thing?
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Here's Sharon.
Oh my gosh. She would go into rages and pester him for hours. Both of his sisters would torment him. His parents would side with them or refuse to get involved. And his sisters were given parties and large rooms and trips, and he never got anything of the sort. His mother never had the time for him or paid him any attention. His father verbally mistreated him and also got physical with him. He was stuck in a tiny half-finished room filled with sawdust. He's allergic and splinters.
He's literally Harry Potter.
Oh my, this actually is Harry Potter, but like,
Way worse.
there's
but
no reason for all this.
Yeah.
He's not like,
this is real.
yeah. Oh my goodness. His bed had bed bugs and nobody did anything until they spread to the other rooms. After his sister destroyed his door, he was blamed and had no door. So he barricaded himself in his room with his mattress. His psychological was so severe that he basically suffered some memory loss in an attempt to block it out. He's terrified of his family and has gone along with everything because they will gang up on him if he doesn't. Frankly, after hearing this, I want Dana out. I've had enough of her petty, jealous, controlling, and ungrateful behavior, and to top it all off, now I found out that she enabled the of my fiance. However, I'm afraid of evicting her. She has nowhere to go.
That sucks to suck, honestly.
Yeah.
If that's the case,
Yeah.
if you're dealing with someone that just and that just
Mhm.
toxic,
Yeah.
don't deal with it.
Right. I mean, I know they mentioned that the other sisters like couldn't take her in for some reason, but
yeah, what about
neither
that
can
too?
you.
Yeah.
Neither can you.
Well, yeah,
So
she has her sisters that she highly favors. And,
Yeah.
you know, why don't you go stay with them?
exactly. They can figure it out. You don't have to be the one to do that. Also, Eddie wants to, but he feels that he's not ready to confront her. He thinks that she's an innocent victim manipulated and taken advantage of by her daughters. He's also scared his sisters will gang up on him and pester him. He's convinced that he can force her to go no contact. He lives his life in fear of all of them, and I'm tired of waiting for him to grow a backbone. I mean,
Okay.
yeah.
I was gonna say, give him a little bit of leeway. You gotta
Yeah.
talk to him about it. Take him to some therapy
Yes.
because this is what his life has been. You know,
right.
You
Right.
cannot be like, all right, now you need to stand up to your mom and your sisters.
Yeah.
The man had literal memory loss because he was
Yeah.
so traumatized.
That is serious stuff. Yeah, I agree. I think try to be forgiving for him as much as you can. But I do kind of see what she's saying, where it's like at a certain point she can't just like stand by and like let this happen.
100%.
So-
I think step by step, but
Yeah,
not
gotta-
saying your husband or fiance in this case doesn't have a backbone. I think it's a little bit too far fetched to be like,
Yeah.
we just found out about this, and he's also just like come to terms with all this.
Yeah.
It's very
if
hard.
he even has. I mean, he's
I don't-
probably
yeah,
still processing
yeah.
things.
The best way to support him is by eliminating those things that
Yeah.
you know that he's afraid of.
For sure.
Not by taking them out, just by saying like,
yeah. Not
don't have it in
eliminate
his
that
life.
way.
yeah. Just like make sure you get it out of his life, or you know,
Right.
limiting the contact as much as you can.
I'm really not sure what to do anymore. I'm starting to get frustrated with how wishy-washy he's been about the whole thing, but at the same time, he's dealing with some serious Stockholm syndrome. I guess I need help getting his mother out of our lives and helping him pick up the pieces with as little damage as possible. Also, Eddie is aware of this post if anyone has advice for him directly. And we do have an update, but do we have any further advice for this situation?
For Eddie, 100%, you need to
Mm-hmm.
therapy. Just that is such a big thing that you need to talk to someone about it, and maybe even talk to your family about it, just to let that sit in the air.
Yeah.
If they just tease you about it or don't care,
Mm-hmm.
then you know where they stand. Then you're like,
Yeah.
okay, listen, you guys did all this from my childhood till now. I'm afraid of you. You know, it's not even like this is like sibling banter or like,
Yeah.
oh, siblings, like, ha ha ha. It's like, I am
I'm
terrified of you.
literally afraid. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and I can't stand up to you guys because that was the life I had as a child, and that's his mental trauma and his just traumatic past, that he's that little kid that he's like, I'm barricading my door with my mattress. That's insane.
That is absolutely insane. And there's like that line where OP says he's convinced that he can force her to go no contact with them, like if he confronts the mom or the sisters. But maybe you can start considering if that's a bad thing. You know, like
It's-
maybe
yeah.
that's what's best.
Show him the positive side of, hey, if you
Yeah.
do this or you stand up for yourself, maybe they will respect you.
Mm-hmm.
Or if you sell this, hey, maybe they will understand. But that's one of those things of, what if you have to do
Yeah.
it first?
Yeah, and I would even offer as OP to like, I mean, does Eddie need to be the one to confront? Like, I understand like giving him that control. I think that is good, but you can
Yes.
maybe offer like, hey, if you don't want to do it, I can.
Yes, but I would. It's one of those things like, you know, you want to pick up this, like what OP said.
Yeah.
Pick up those pieces very carefully.
Yes.
Because if you do it yourself, or if you do it for him, it should be for him and for himself.
But we do have an update. Oh, and for the record, I own my home. I inherited some money from my grandmother and bought a rather large house with it. There is no mortgage, and currently I am the only person on the title. So I am the landlord. There is no actual lease with Dana and Bob, but there is a verbal agreement that they will contribute to his bills in lieu of rent, keeping their portion of the house clean, and treat us with respect. She has broken all of these terms, and he has broken none of them.
If that's a verbal agreement with Bob, why are we
Yeah.
like, even Bob knows about this? So what's okay?
Yeah. So that's grounds in itself.
You have literal proof of like, hey,
Yeah.
she's not, you know,
It's not working out.
she's not doing what she said she was going to do.
Long story short, Eddie and I got in an argument about Dana's behavior, and he snapped and got angrier than he's ever been with me before. I literally was fighting in my therapist's waiting room with him and felt at an all-time low. I decided to dump him when I came out of my appointment.
Whoa.
Whoa, I was not expecting that.
Me neither.
Oh my gosh. When I came out to him, his head was hung low and his face was red. I informed him that I was evicting his mother later that week and he was going with her. He looked me in the eye and told me he understood and began crying. He told me he understood just how bad things were. His family had easily siphoned 5 digits worth of money off of me, including him. His car keeps needing expensive repairs, and I had taken torrents of verbal diarrhea from his sisters. He apologized for his behavior and told me that regardless of what happened to me, he was cutting all 3 of them, mother-in-law, sister-in-law, out of his life and going to therapy. We ended up talking for a while, and Eddie revealed that the reason that he had taken his mother's side for so long was that he was in denial about the relationship. He realized that Dana didn't love him at all and only wanted his attention when his sisters weren't around and I was. She only paid attention to him out of her own jealousy and loneliness. She didn't really care about him at all. He realized now that pining for her love wasn't healthy and that he was done doing her favors if he was getting nothing in return. My own mother is very psychopathic and incapable of love, so I understood. I told Eddie that I would give him one last chance, but I wanted him to pay me back his whole family's debt by supporting me while I got back on my feet and got ready to work and go on disability. I also told him that depending on his actions over the next few months, I may still dump him.
I don't like that.
Yeah. There's a lot to unpack there.
There's a lot. Yeah.
I feel for Eddie because, of course, you know, when you're in a relationship, you can't, it's very hard to see, especially if this has been your family, your whole family, and over your whole life.
100%. And I also feel for OP too, because OP is just like, I'm tired of a round of waiting, and they've also taking literally big chunks of money from me, and no, there's zero respect here, and I'm getting barely, you know, a dime back. But that's between his family and you, and he's working through things. And I don't like the, you know, if you do this, maybe we can still get back together, or like I still may dump you. You don't do that.
I know. I'm never a fan of like, that feels like an ultimatum of being like if you do this, like I'll break up with you. You know, I don't think that's ever like a healthy thing to put on in a relationship. But I do get what she's kind of trying to say. I think of like being like, I thought I was going to break up with you. I'm going to give you another chance. But like, you know, it's not going to be back to normal right away.
That's a totally different conversation. But the way OP stated was, you're kind of doing it out of fear now. Like, oh, if you don't do this, or if things don't really go back, if you don't really show me that you're working on it, I still may dump you. I think that's like, you're kind of like threatening him.
Right. I think there was a much better way to say that.
There's a much better way of saying, hey, you know, I care about you. I want to give this another shot. It may not be back to normal what it is and what it was, but I'm still willing to try as long as you're willing to try.
Eddie was a changed man over the next few weeks. He started actively planning her eviction, taking legal steps, and working on rebuilding our relationship, including spending time with me and not on his computer. Things haven't been better in over a year. However, I'm keeping my eye on him to make sure that he doesn't revert. She was served the eviction last weekend. She went from shock to denial to angrily blaming me within 30 seconds. It was astounding. She started shooting her mouth off about how she'd done us favors helping us pay the bills. It was astounding because she still owes me thousands. I supported her and her son and another person financially for 4 to 5 months, and she uses the utilities and doesn't think that she should pay, apparently. She also called me oversensitive because the pee smell in her room wasn't that bad, and she's never actually seen cockroaches in there, and there are cockroaches in your kitchen. Maybe if you stopped leaving expired food in your fridge, it's all just her fault. Going back to her again.
Again, she is always going to be, I'm always right.
Exactly.
You're always wrong.
Within 3 minutes of the conversation ending, we started getting bombarded by Sharon. I haven't seen that much vitriol from anyone in my whole life. Sharon sent my fiance dozens of insanely long messages detailing how she'd always hate me and all my slights against her, even though she's really only met me 3 times and only talked to me once. She emphasized how bad our home was, the way I run it, how Dana does all our chores, a lie, she doesn't even do her own, and she even went as far as to mock my cooking. Dana always complains about my weird, her words, cooking. I'm a white girl with a passion for Asian culture, and I cook a lot of exotic food from scratch. Apparently, Dana, whose cooking consists of heating up a bag of pasta in the stove, told Sharon just how awful and disgusting my food was.
If you didn't like the food, then why did you eat it?
Yeah, just make your microwavable noodles, dude.
Yeah.
It stung a lot because cooking is my passion, and she literally is the only person who doesn't like my food. Most of all, it did reaffirm that she was passing her information. Anyway, that night I was called a witch, a C word, a witch, a slime, a bad girlfriend, and some other things that I don't even want to repeat. She called him a coward and told him that I had removed his balls. She threatened to send us both to heck personally if she wasn't in another state. Well, that's a threat at that point. That's like an actual concerning
And you know
threat.
what you say to that? I'd love to see you try.
There you go. There
Yeah.
you go.
But it looks like you're getting evicted. So
Yeah.
go find a place first before you do anything else.
He told her he wanted no more contact, but she persisted through text and Facebook. She even started messaging Bob about how he was a traitor and how could he do this to his poor mother. She told him to contact her, gave him her number. He has no phone and she knows this, and immediately blocked him on Facebook, his only way of contacting her. She's so stupid.
I love this.
Bob got involved and talked to Dana, but she pretty much was spitting vitriol about how I turned her son against her and she wasn't paying anything next month. And how could you betray me after we've been friends for so long? Nowhere did she apologize or think about her actions. If she had at least done that, I would have given her a lot more time to find a place than I did. So now we are at a point where nobody in the house other than Bob is really talking to Dana. She's completely bitter and making excuses about how she has nowhere to go and can't afford it. Apparently, she told Bob that she's decided to move across the country and live with Sharon. Sharon smartly is renting her an apartment in the same complex instead of moving her in, but considering how extremely needy, jealous, and competitive Dana is, I'm assuming she will virtually move into their space anyway and try to break them up like she did with us so that she can have Sharon to herself. She's also not coming to our wedding and is cutting us both out, so that takes care of that for us. I guess I'm here because I'm just in shock. I can't believe that Dana could be so cold to her own son.
I can.
She's never really seemed to care about him much. She's always jumped through fire for her daughters, but she leeches off of her son no problem. She accused him of selling out to me, and she wants nothing to do with him now. She completely ignores us both, then accuses us of shunning her to Bob. I've just been giving her space these past few days, but she still has over a month here, and I'm getting so tired of her behavior. I'm sickened by how she treats my fiance and how I've been letting her use us for a year. I guess if I need help with anything, it's how to handle her. I'm tired of constantly hearing her make accusations at us, sicking her daughters on us when we make her mad, and just being openly nasty. At least she has shown Eddie her true colors. She's also planning on bringing Sharon, who threatened us, here to help her move across the country. I do not want this crazy woman in my house. Sharon is the head manager at her workplace. I'm thinking of contacting higher ups in her company if she shows up and physically harms us, as well as the police. Sharon is completely paranoid and off kilter, so I wouldn't put it past her to harm me, and I'm wondering if the consequences at her workplace would be enough to deter her from touching me. Oh, and before I forget to mention, Carrie is in the military. Dana changed Carrie's legal address to our address behind my back last week. We told her that we would take care of it, but she went and did it anyway. Carrie has military training and has also verbally mistreated me before, and I'm not sure I want to deal with getting rid of her when she's not even here right now. I'm not quite sure what to do about it, but I figure that when Dana moves, she can change Carrie's mailing address to wherever she goes and take Carrie's things with her. But you can always take us with you. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search OK Storytime. You can listen to our full episodes with more stories just like this one. Take us everywhere you go.
Yeah.
In your eardrums. But yeah, there is a little bit more to the story, but oh my goodness.
Wow.
So much is happening.
So
Yeah.
I like that thing where you're like, okay, the Sharon's coming to help Dana get her out of the place and help her move across the country.
Yeah.
I don't think you need to jump to that conclusion of I need to contact her workplace because you don't want to get, meddled with all of that.
Yeah.
But you can film it. You can film like, hey,
True.
I'm recording this, or I can just record this through my phone,
Yeah.
or what have you. Like, just get your stuff out. Let bygones be bygones. I just want you out. Easy.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
I think recording it is very smart. If she does say or try anything again, then you have actual proof.
You have proof.
Actual
You
proof.
can record it. Great. It's in the your own home.
Yeah.
So what can they do? They're
Yeah.
entering your house, getting their stuff out. You can record it. see what they do,
Yeah.
or see if they steal anything, or again get any, just for your own sanity.
Right.
In regards of Dana being cold, these are her true colors. Great, Eddie. I feel like Eddie's getting a breath of fresh air, and once his mom's actually gone,
Mm-hmm.
it's gonna be such a weight off all of your shoulders, and he's gonna finally realize,
Yeah.
they did the hard work. They're cutting off contact with us.
Right.
He didn't have to
Great.
do that. He didn't have to have that. He didn't have to have that conversation with them. They did it for him, pretty much.
Yeah. Yeah.
So great.
There is a little bit more to the story. Things with Eddie are better. We are still taking things slow, but he's planning on starting therapy soon. Oh, good. I'm just glad everything is almost over because our relationship hasn't been this good. He just seems at peace now that they won't be in his life anymore. He's confident and happy, and I am so proud of him. This will probably be my last update here unless Sharon or even Carrie, but highly unlikely, shows up and causes some sort of a scene. If I don't update, just assume everything went well and we are living in peace, free of the crazy. And
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure so far we've got no update. My fiance cheated on me while I'm still grieving, so I ended our engagement.
Yeah, that's over.
Yep. I, 30 female, broke up with my fiance, 30 male, today. I don't know where to begin, but I'm not hurting. I'm disappointed, frustrated, maybe even irritated. We had been together for 3.5 years, and it was a rough but incredible time. He taught me to trust, to love, and open up. He showed me not all men were... By the way, this comes from Unfiltered page V, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. So, however, I have ADHD, and I was unmedicated at the time that we started dating. I didn't know how to handle being over threshold or how to communicate or let myself feel emotions. I got help, was medicated, and went to cognitive behavioral therapy. Things went great until he mentioned a female friend that he had never mentioned before. He would say things like, "We vibe so well, we think the same, we talk for hours," which kind of bothered me. Yeah.
Talk for hours.
Yeah, it's a little suspicious. Anyways, I asked to meet this girl. So we started talking, and she came to help us clear out a hoarder's house. Okay. I'm talking biohazard level. You know what she shows up in? Daisy Dukes with her cheeks out and a crop top. Yep, I was uncomfortable. She faked nice, and when he got there, I was ignored. They even left to do dump runs, leaving me alone. Then, once she got my okay, she had suddenly stopped communicating with me. So I told him that this made me uncomfortable. He started hanging with her behind my back and lying about it. He got caught, and we kind of worked through it. Now, fast forward 3 years in, and just over 1 month after I lost my dad, we battled that hard, and we took care of dad together. I'm a daddy's girl. We were always very close. He goes to a ceremony, meets someone, and I get a text at 12:40 a.m. I'm on my way home. Well, he lied. He didn't come home and into bed until 5 a.m. He spent all night in a car with another female. She massaged his hand. He gave her arm tickles and offered to tickle her back. That mortified me. To me, that's cheating. I beg for back tickles. It's something that I've had since childhood, something that my dad used to do when I couldn't sleep. He expressed how much she got him and that she was on the same wavelength and filled certain cups I don't, with spiritual and philosophical. He went on and said that he didn't want to lose this connection, so I felt pressured into agreeing to open our relationship up so that he could explore it. He happily did. We all went out one night and they both went for a smoke in his car because it was freezing outside. I said I was okay with it, but begged them not to be long and to not forget me. They left me in that 24-hour diner for an hour. A freaking hour. I lost it. Respectfully, I went home after I gave them heck, and he didn't come home for almost 45 minutes. I realized I was not going to be manipulated into this and told him that I'm done and that I was not okay with his affair. He freaked out, blocked her, and chose me. Well, it's been 5 months since then, and I couldn't let it go.
You shouldn't. He didn't
Absolutely
choose
not.
you. He just got, scared that you're gonna leave him. Like that he
He
freaking like betrayed you already.
he wanted you there as safety for having someone when he's not getting booty called, and then now that he doesn't have his default, then he's scared.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't get booty called every day.
Yikes.
After some serious soul searching, self-love, and discovery, I realized I'm worth more than that. I can't just let it go or forgive him for what he has done, especially when I was at my lowest. I was in a really bad place. I couldn't get out of bed. I stopped eating. I was crying every day over my dad passing, and this man that I loved so much goes and lets himself have an emotional affair. He had the balls to manipulate me into opening up our relationship and tell me, "Well, you talked about doing this before too," to which I replied, "Not till we were in a better place." I was done. I was struggling to be intimate with him and was honestly enjoying my time away from him more than with him. Yesterday, I brought up that we needed counseling, that I can't let it go, and that I 100% can't and don't trust him with women. He was wounded and became extra loving, doing nice things for me, etc. This morning, he tried waking me up with spicy sleep.
Oh, what?
That's non-consensual.
No.
Non-consensual.
No.
I panicked instantly. My heart began to beat out of my chest and every muscle in my body became tense. It took me 30 seconds to say, please don't, I can't do this. To which he got up and stormed out. When he came back, I said, what the F was that? He said he went for a smoke and that he was upset because spicy sleep was one of the best ways that we connected and that he wanted the end to be the best versus it ending badly. What? So is he thinking like we're gonna end our relationship, so might as well like sleep together at the end of it?
I have no idea, but like
So not okay on
so not okay.
all levels. I knew by my reaction to him that I was checked out. He argued that it's sad that I'm going to throw away 3 years of an amazing relationship over one thing. I actually laughed and coldly replied, yeah, that one thing was you cheating on me 1 month after my dad passed away. Yeah, that's so small. Maybe if it was before my dad passed away, just maybe I could work through it, but I can't. Not right now. Not when you stole my grief from me.
Anything can be one thing if you kind of label it under an umbrella term, you know?
Mm-hmm.
It's like, no, this has been going on for 1 month. It's not one thing.
yeah,
It's just one person.
right. You're calling cheating one thing.
Yeah,
But getting in the car could be another thing.
Yeah.
Driving to the house could be another
It's like,
thing.
these are all little
Talking
things.
could be another thing. You know what I mean? It's like, and even if it was one thing, then why, like, sure, end
Yeah.
it. Like,
Yeah.
that's fine. I need to focus on healing my heart from the loss of my dad, and I can't do that when I'm fixated on us. So my question is, am I the a-hole for breaking up with
No.
him for this? Absolutely not. Because of how many amazing times we had and how sad and devastated he is over this. He's been crying. I haven't cried once. I feel so guilty and like a crappy person for giving up on us, but I can't be with someone who carelessly hurts me when I'm already drowning in pain. We also don't want the same things in life. I hope this wasn't too crazy. I'm going on no sleep and an ADHD over threshold, overthinking brain. And there are some comments, but no. Not the a-hole.
He's terrible. He sucks.
Yeah.
He's cheated on you.
It does not matter what he's feeling. If you're like aware that you don't want to be like manipulated into this, then it's like that's a big way that people manipulate is you get mad at them and then they're all like, no, I'm so sad. And then you're like, oh, I don't want to see him sad.
Yeah.
And then you get back together and then it's like, well, no, because you are still upset. You are like, even if you're not crying, you can still be upset about this and still have this as a reason to leave him.
Exactly.
So there are some comments though. Commenter number 1 says, no, not the a-hole. You do not need justification to withdraw from a relationship that doesn't work for you. Here's why it doesn't work for you. I can't be with someone who carelessly hurts me. We also don't want the same things in life. Just for a minute, did you consider the possibility that your ex chose you because you were vulnerable, strategically got you to trust him, and once he felt confident with your love and trust, then he did the bait and switch, revealing his shady, cheating side in the hopes that he could gauge how much crap you'd be willing to accept. Yeah, he may have tried to manipulate you into another harmful relationship. Going forward, when your partner's mask slips, pay attention. On the positive side, your therapist sounds great and you are responding well to therapy. Best of luck to a better future. And OP responds, I never even closely thought of it this way. Now I can't think of it in any other way. He also said this to me. Context first, I want a baby. I'm ready. I'm a homeowner. Financially stable, all on my own. He didn't contribute a dime, and he said that he's not ready. So after months of discussion, I realized I can have a baby with or without him, and I told him this. I have to do IVF anyway. He understood this. So come yesterday, he said the most ignorant thing ever that shocked my sister and her husband so much and myself. Well, if we break up and say in the future find our ways back, I will not raise another man's child.
That's so funny because you're not coming back.
Doesn't matter either way.
Don't worry. You're never going to raise another man's child with me.
So I was like, why the F not? We were about to foster a 15-year-old together. So why would me having a baby through IVF on my own with the support of my sibling be an issue? And he said, oh, don't you lie to me and tell me you don't use someone else's baby juice Or if you don't, who knows what kind of psycho donor you may use? I just stared in disbelief and I said, donor agencies are thorough in their checks. He said, I don't care. I refuse to raise another man's child, so I won't help you raise it if it's not mine. And I said, then we have no future. He said, well, we do. I just won't raise it. It's like, oh my God. Oh my God. Ugh. It's like just talking in circles. You're like talking to a wall.
Yeah.
This is like trying to have a conversation, have an argument with a frog, and they can't respond. They just can't understand
Oh,
you.
man.
They can ribbit all they want, but they're not making any sense.
And no matter how hard you kiss them, they ain't turning into a prince.
not at all.
No.
Yeah, this is, oh my God. Oh my God.
This
And we-
guy's a nightmare.
Absolutely. And we do have an update,
Get
but
into it because I've
let's
got
do it.
my only thought is stay broken up.
yeah, just stay out of there.
Yeah.
So I found out recently that he unblocked and messaged the woman that he had the affair with.
Shocking.
Not surprised. Just 2 days after I broke up with him. Yeah. I was devoid of any other emotion except anger. I was also in the process of giving him our dog for his 3 days off work, so I brought it up. He literally just said, well, we're separated, so why does it matter if I message her? But it's like it only proves that he's shady and that he had 100% intentionally cheated. On a funny note, she not only rejected him, but she kind of owned him with her rejection. Then she sent me a screenshot to show me. That's fun.
Whoa.
Getting the girls to
Okay.
team up.
Team up.
He told her that I made him block her and that we dissolved our partnership. LOL, whatever that means. He also gets mad at me when I tell the truth about why I dumped him. He doesn't want people to know that he cheated.
Well,
He
then you
wants
shouldn't have cheated, buddy.
not her problem. He wants me to say that it's amicable, that we dissolved it. I'm like, nope. If I'm asked why we broke up, I'm telling the truth. I'm not lying to protect your butt. He was very angry with me, but I just said to him, how you react to your actions is not my problem. That's a great line. Freaking bars, man. That he ruined this and threw it all away for an affair, and I don't see why I have to sugarcoat it for his feelings. He never considered my feelings. Anyways, today he met up to pick up our dog, and he surprised my nephew who loves him. However, my nephew is extremely smart, and his thought process and understanding of things is that of an adult. And you know what I understand is that we've got full episodes with more stories just like this one on Spotify, iHeartRadio, Apple Podcasts, whatever your favorite podcast app is. Just search OK Story Time.
It's the truth.
It's the truth. Yeah, and there's a little bit more to this story, but I want her to keep the dog.
Me too. I'm
Why
like,
are they sharing-
don't share that dog with
I
him.
don't want him to have any custody of that dog.
No custody.
Frogs can't take care of dogs.
That's what they say.
They're
and
too
it
little.
rhymes, so it's true.
Yeah, you
They're
know
too little.
They're too little. But there's a little bit more to the story.
Let's read it.
Wrap it up. My ex made a comment to me when I asked him to help my nephew, and he said, "Isn't there a magic word that you should say?" I rolled my eyes and went to do it myself. My nephew then said, "Well, you didn't say please when you hurt my auntie with that other girl, so why does she have to say please to you?"
Owned.
Dude.
Owned.
Wow, getting owned by a freaking nephew who I'm going to
Freaking nephew.
I don't know how old he is, but I'm going to guess and
He's
hope
nephew
he's like
age.
9.
Yeah, me too. I hope that.
That would be great. Oh my gosh. My sister and I started choking back laughter, and my ex paled and didn't say a word. He just sulked. I'm sure this won't be the last update. He's trying to win me back by trying to get me jealous or reel me back in with random deeds and crap. But that's the end of the story.
Don't fall for it.
No, don't fall for it. Also, I'm kind of confused because they were engaged. They weren't married yet, and they
Yeah.
don't have kids. So
Yeah.
I'm like, why is she still in contact with him?
With the dog?
Maybe for the dog, but
I don't know. Figure that out, man.
I
Stop
wonder-
being in contact.
yeah, she's got to be like the nail girl in Legally Blonde.
Yeah.
I'm taking the dog.
I'm taking the dog, dumbass.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. But that's the end.
Yep. That is the end of that story.
My fiance's dream wedding is not what I want. I want to run away.
Run, Forrest, run.
So for context, OP is 28 female and their partner is 32 male. I've always hated almost everything about weddings and being the center of attention at events. I can remember several events in my childhood that cemented this. Being forced to be a flower girl for an uncle and hating it as a small child. Being forced to have large fancy birthday parties by my father. Parents divorced. My mom respected my wishes on this stuff. My father did not, and it eventually caused a huge rift, etc. By the way, this comes from Wedding Problem Throw, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to r/OKStorytime subreddit. So I did not want to walk at graduation, high school, or college for similar reasons, and my father and other family members blew up at me, etc. So similar things have been an issue in my entire life, I think. I'm not shy or anything, was as a kid, but I am an introvert, not being keen on being the center of attention of any particular day. I don't want my day, and I really hate the whole idea of a wedding spotlight on me in any way, shape, or form. I also hate a lot of marriage/wedding traditions. Diamonds, roses, thrill, lace, cutesy stuff, all that, white clothes, matching clothes, etc. I don't enjoy planning events or attending big events. May be relevant. When I go to weddings, I'm always polite, but it's a bit of a misery for me, even as a guest. I've repeatedly turned down being a bridesmaid as an adult and haven't since I was 21 and don't know how to get out of it. My significant other has been a groomsman 3 times in the past 2 years, and 2 of those weddings I was asked to be a bridesmaid, but declined. Both of those couples were a bit unhappy with me, but I stood firm. I think this caused some awkwardness for my fiance. My fiance is by no means some great romantic traditionalist, or has it been prior. He's a pretty alternative person in terms of personality in general. We both are. As to romance, we don't celebrate Valentine's Day, anniversaries, etc. We are romantic in our own ways. Like, I might think of him and buy a nerdy desk toy with a cute handwritten card just because, or he might make me a painting of some alien planet.
I love that.
They are not from this earth. I'm sorry, but these people, they just don't function this earth, which is good.
I love them so much.
Be who you are. Really, you really like this story?
I like it.
However, somehow my fiance is now becoming the "we should do this because everyone does" wedding guy. It started with the ring. He wanted to buy me a diamond solitaire, but he knows I hate diamonds, so he didn't. He suggested a white sapphire, but those look basically like diamonds. He thought it was a mental block about diamonds or maybe an ethics issue. I suggested a plain band and no engagement ring. He vetoed. I found a vintage jewelry on Etsy that was kind of funky and fun, and he said none of them look like the engagement rings. True, that's the point. I don't like engagement rings. We settled on a compromise, an engagement looking ring with an emerald and a semi-funky band, and I didn't have to wear it daily, especially once we got married and got bands. I really didn't like it. However, any day when I don't wear it, I typically get the puppy dog eyes from him. I know it bothers him. He's not rude about it, but it's how he feels. So, then the wedding. We've always said we would elope, but granted, the discussions weren't serious. They were offhand comments. He made them as well and admits it. But we have been to quite a few weddings in the past 2 years for friends, and he thinks, 1, it would be rude to them not to have an invite to invite them to it, and after being in wedding parties and buying so many gifts for them, it's stupid not to have our own. Never mind that the cost of the wedding offsets the gifts entirely. I don't get either of those reasons at all. Then he gave me one reason I do get. He wanted his family there. Sure, of course, I get that. I wouldn't mind my mom and grandparents and favorite cousins there too. There are a few people I can see being good to be there, and I know that means inviting a few we don't care for. As a compromise, we figured on a small, easy affair of 20 or so guests. I invited 8 guests. My mom, her new husband, my grandparents, my favorite cousin, her husband, and one friend and her boyfriend. And then my significant other said, no, I need to invite A, the rest of my family, including my father, who needed to give me away. Never happening, especially the latter. And B, anyone who ever invited us to their wedding, plus anyone in those friend circles, plus he had 17 family members already. Basically, the only thing we still agree on is a child-free wedding and that there has to be booze. Also wants frilly fancy stuff. He wants a higher budget. He's willing to pay more and makes a lot more money than me, frankly. My mom is willing to pay too, but she also just give me the money for a house down payment. He wants me to wear a white or cream dress and a nice gown/dress, not the kind of knee-length thing I want to do, and nothing funky. He wants to wear a suit, which I'd never tell him what to wear, but this is just the justification for my level of dress. He wants to have bridesmaids and groomsmen. He wants to do it up, basically, and the whole prospect is shutting me down. Every single day, I think of leaving the ring box, packing my stuff, and just running away. I love this man. I want to marry him and spend the rest of my life with him, but I feel so bulldozed and disrespected right now. I live overseas for years and have actually started eyeing those overseas jobs again. I haven't applied to anything yet, but I just constantly dream of escaping this wedding. Every time I try to share these thoughts with my significant other, I haven't mentioned the leaving thing yet, but I have cried about it and mentioned how uncomfortable I am and how this isn't what I want and so forth. He just tells me this is what people do and let's get it through it and everything will go back to normal. People in real life who I've spoken to, one friend, my mother, my favorite cousin, basically say, yeah, it sucks, but suck it up. You love them. Don't ruin your life. But I don't know if I can do it. They also seem to have the attitude that this is just what people do, which drives me effing crazy. I don't want to live my life based on what people do. If you've ever jumped off a bridge, would you? I mean, come on. We got an edit. My fiance and I have been together for 5 years, lived together for 4, been engaged for 2 months. We met overseas and moved back to the States together. Both Americans, same culture, we're white with no culture, and moved in. Edit. Said this in a comment, but still feels relevant in general. I guess I should add we basically have to get married legally by next year, or he has to avoid making a big promotion overseas again that he's already in training for. Because it's a country I'll find it hard to get a work visa for this time. I wanted to get married before I quit my job, so that puts me in the deadline up to August since I teach elementary school and I don't want to leave mid-year. We already have joint finances, live together, and call each other husband and wife. Oh, man.
So it really is truly just the wedding that she doesn't like. But that's just so hard because I get where everyone's mindset's coming from, where it's like, it's just how it is because they're used to it. They would expect her to be used to it because that's very common. But if she didn't even walk in her high school and college graduations, which is like, I don't even know how you escape that.
Yeah.
But she did it.
I'm sick.
She said it's uncomfortable. And so it's like, you don't want her to just be like suffering the day of her wedding, you know? So like I'm sure they can figure out some sort of compromise of like, okay, well, he wants this big thing. She doesn't want this big thing. You know, he'll probably be sad if he doesn't get a big thing. She'll be sad if she does. So maybe we can find something in the middle. Maybe we can do a secret wedding in private, but then have a bit of a party.
This was removed for no question before, but my question is, how do my fiance and I talk about and compromise on this appropriately? The big issue seems to be I'm really, really against the wedding traditions like throwing the bouquet, me walking down the aisle to him, we can go together or he can walk to me, especially with my dad who I don't want to invite. Wearing white, traditional dress, or even hand-picked dress. I just rather wear a dress I feel like wearing that day. I wanted to maybe wear my red Betsy Johnson that hasn't got used though yet. And he flipped out. Having bridesmaids, I think all other wedding stuff is pretty awful too, but I'm fine with him just picking the food, flowers, band, etc. If he wants it, he either doesn't like my suggestions because they are super non-traditional. I suggested greenery instead of flowers, and I'm fine with just not suggesting anything, but then he says I have no opinion because my opinion is I don't like traditional flowers or whatever. I'm not against some compromise. I know he wants a wedding and not an elopement, though this is new and it seems to be purely social pressure. As far as he can tell me, he has no personal reason why. So I'm willing to compromise and do something, but not just do everything the way people expect. And we got a freaking update. Thank you to those who understood my perspective and actually gave us real ways to communicate without me having to pretend there was anything I liked about weddings. I sat my fiance down with a list of 5 deal breakers / no ways as Thank You Away 88 suggested, and I even used most of her suggestions. From the sounds of things, you might like the following. Your dad is not invited, or maybe just not walking you down the aisle. No bridesmaids. Your dress is either not white or not long / floral length. No bouquet toss. No more than 50, maybe 60 guests. I realized I didn't care about the dress enough to make a fuss too much, and it seemed one of the most important aspects to him, so I replaced the dress one with no bride walking down the aisle or being given away. We'll walk in together. And I went with my dad, not invited, as I never have my dad at any event, but I went with a 60 for the max amount of guests. So I told my significant other where my drop deal breakers were. I said, as for wedding traditions, I'd even do the smash cake in each other's faces or any non-gendered traditions that we could both play or partner role in, i.e. where there's not a bride role and a groom role, as a lot of my issues with weddings has to do with the gendered roles seen in them. I also suggested something that would alleviate issues for me, which was actually get married before the wedding, secretly just for us. So it wasn't our real wedding day. And I said he could pick everything else if he gives me selections, I'd pick the things, but wouldn't necessarily pretend to like flowers, etc. He'd have to accept this one if it was just the one I hated the least without making me 20 questions about it, why it was the best, which I couldn't honestly answer because I thought they weren't so hot, and he'd have to do most of the active planning if he didn't want to just give it to a planner, which I suggested, though I'd be happy to run deposit checks, go with him if he needed it on occasion. I set a number of 7 weekend days, not the days, but the total number between now and the wedding in which he could pick to devote it to his planning, like if he wants to take me to taste or something instead of just letting a planner do it or planning himself. But that I would not talk wedding stuff at all more than once weekly, unless it was as simple as, oh, we talked yesterday, but I forgot we need to write a check for X. No decisions, just practical stuff on those days. So wedding planning does not take over my life. I put all of this in a Word document, basically, with a heartfelt letter at the beginning and presented my plan and suggestion. He made notes at things he took issue with, etc. He took issues with this once a week, citing practical, which I 100% understood, and we upped that to twice a week for now, with it being unlimited in the 2 weeks before the wedding itself. At first, he still took issue with the bridesmaids and the wedding tradition stuff, but he seemed a little torn. He said he never really thought about it, how gendered weddings are, and he could see me being totally uncomfortable with that. I told him I never 100% realized that's why I hated being a bridesmaid, but I felt it was a big part once I had reflected on it. At the end of the day, he decided he would have a best man who didn't stand with him. He asked a friend to organize a stag party and give a toast, basically. And the friend was cool with not wearing a tux and just standing up. And I could have no bridesmaids, but he wanted to designate one friend to give a toast, which I was happy to do. He still doesn't get me not wanting my father invited, but he seems to respect it. His family does not, and say it means something fishy is up, and keeps calling about it. But he seems to be standing up for me on that. He also took issue with the number of guests, and we're still negotiating about that. This is what I need a follow-up advice on. He says with all the things he's conceded, he doesn't think he should have to cap the number of guests at all, and he's come back with a number of 130.
Oh boy, that's a lot of people.
This seems way too large to me, but he said his parents mandated he invite about 70 people he really doesn't know well or want there, edit the family list. And he obviously wants his actual friends and my family and friends to attend as well. My number of people is 12, including 4 people who are mutual friends that would be on his list, if not on mine. And they're not even my mom, not included in his list of 130. That's just for him. And you know what could be just for you after this story? If you go to your favorite podcast platform, search up OK Storytime and Miss Angelina, there will be a plethora of stories for you that are just for you. Handmade. Hand edited. Soundproof just for your beautiful
Wow,
ear.
it's okay. I'll share it with everyone else too.
He says his family is already going to be upset enough at the lack of wedding traditions, the fact that neither of us want to marry in their church. This is a deal breaker, but I agree. I wouldn't be allowed to marry there anyway, probably without meaning faith, etc. At the very least, we should invite the whole extended family, their church, meaning the Catholic Church in general, not a specific location. I was going to give him a compromise of 100, including my 12 must-have if we're doing a wedding. I mean, they aren't must-haves, as I could have had 0 guests, but if I'm doing a wedding, those 12 people need to be there. Yes. Leaving him 88 slots to fill to his heart's content. Does that seem fair? Are there any tips for telling him how to negotiate with his family? And not gonna lie, his family seems a little overbearing, and maybe you should go to wedding counseling to figure out if you want that in your life.
Because I mean, yeah, a counselor would probably have a lot of good tips and tricks on how to communicate this stuff properly, or just being able to talk about it like with someone there, and then you could also bring up these compromises and figure something out with a professional. That works too.
Yeah.
My fiance disapproves of my female best man. I want to call off the engagement.
Well, we're taking down all these gender roles, okay?
Yeah. Watch out. So I, 28 male, proposed to my girlfriend, Yasmin, 24 female, in March. Earlier this week, she and I were talking about wedding plans, and she already picked out who her bridesmaids were going to be and was questioning me about my groomsmen to see who'd walk with who and all that. By the way, this comes from my groomsman's a girl. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the OK Storytime subreddit. So I told her who I wanted and let her know that my best man was actually going to be my friend Kate, 27 female. Yasmin kind of freaked and was really adamant about her not being the best man. I asked her why, and she listed off a lot of reasons, none of which I believe.
She said, "It'll look weird in photos. It'll be weird when Kate has to walk down the aisle with her maid of honor." That she doesn't want Kate to be distracting to guests, that Kate's too short, WTF, to stand next to a bunch of 6-foot guys. The reasons were ridiculous, and I told her as much. She told me I should respect her wishes for the wedding and gave me suggestions for other best mans. I know the real reason might be jealousy, but I don't want to just drop it and go along with her insecurities. We ended up getting into a big argument. Yaz was upset that I wasn't budging on my stance, and I was mad she was acting so irrational. She was really accusatory about why I wanted Kate in the wedding so bad. Maybe because she's his friend? I finally told her if she doesn't want to let me have this one thing, maybe there shouldn't be a wedding at all. Ooh, tough.
Ooh.
Tough. She got really angry and told me to just leave our apartment. I've been couch surfing at a friend's for the past couple days, not Kate. Last time I tried to talk to Yaz, she asked if I was ready to apologize. No, because I don't want her to think she was right about forbidding me from letting Kate be in the wedding. And before anyone asks, no, Kate and I have never been spicy related or romantic. She's been one of my closest friends and introduced me to my current social circle. I used to be an awkward, nerdy guy who had trouble making friends. Now I'm an awkward, nerdy guy with a social life. We survived grad school together, and she's been with me through high and low parts of life, and it seems insane to not include her in my wedding. Yaz and Kate know each other, but aren't friends, and over time, Yaz got used to me having a close female friend without being jealous or mistrusting, or so I thought. Uh-oh. Am I the a-hole? Edit, I should mention, Yasmin has never acted this way before, and is usually pretty easygoing and understanding. And she didn't so much as punt me out as she said, well, maybe you should just go then. And I called her bluff and left. She tried to get me to come back and also apologize, but we're both hard-headed when it comes to what we want. I don't want to call off the wedding, and I get why Yaz was upset by me saying we should, but I wanted her to know how serious I was. Edit 2, no idea if anyone read this. I went back home today after cooling off, and Yaz and I had a long talk, and I'm not going to go into the details, and we're going to pause really quick before we get into the details.
Yep.
But what do you think?
I don't think you're the a-hole.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think this
actually looks
needs to be more of a discussion of like, why is this coming up all of a sudden? Not just like, no, let me do it. No,
Yeah.
you can't do it. You know, like it needs to go underneath the surface.
I absolutely agree. If you guys were about to get married, don't just be like, well, we're not getting married, so we're breaking up. You're being jealous, blah, blah, blah. It's like, let's have an adult conversation
Yeah.
where you guys, because presumably if you're about to get married, you've had other conflict before
Hopefully.
that you've gotten through. So just take a minute,
Yep.
see if you can reason with her. See if this is something that she's gonna kind of make a fuss about your whole marriage. And then we'll see where we go from there.
I
Yeah.
agree.
But definitely pause the marriage. We're not calling off the wedding,
Good. Okay.
but we're going to talk about this more and try to come up with a mutual solution. No idea what that is yet. And just to address a few things I've seen a lot of, no, Kate is not single. Yaz and Kate are friendly, but they aren't friends. I'm not very close to any of Yaz's friends either. Kate and I have known each other for almost 7 years. I've been with Yaz for 2. I am not attracted to Kate, and we're not going to run off into the sunset together. Stop watching bad rom-coms. It's 2020. I could be friends with a woman without wanting to sleep with her. I'm not choosing another woman over Yaz. If Kate were a man and Yaz didn't want him in the wedding, I'd have a right to be pissed. But since Kate's a woman, suddenly I don't love my fiance enough? That's BS. Oh, and if you've implied I'm gonna have an affair or already cheated, F off. And there are some comments and an update. Actually, good question to ask is, has she had a problem with Kate prior to this? You know, was there kind of hesitancy on letting you guys hang out? Did she ever make comments about Kate, about your guys' closeness?
Right.
Because presumably your closest showed up in different ways than just the best man stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like it was probably there before. So how was she reacting before all this?
I want to
That's what I
know.
want to know. I want to know that. Comment 1. This wedding is just as much your day as it is hers, and you absolutely deserve to have someone up there that you trust as your best /man.
Nice.
Your fiance needs to not only recognize that, but figure out whatever insecurity is causing her to lash out in this manner. I reply, I really don't think it's insecurities as much as wanting a picture-perfect traditional wedding party bridezilla. But what will other people think? And the pictures won't match. Man, woman. She said it herself when she mentioned them walking down the aisle. Reply, I don't think so. Those sound like deflecting reasons to me, like she's trying to come up with any reason other than the real one. Based on the amount of reasons she provides and her apparent lack of depth to support them, and OP saying he doesn't believe them to be reasons. Another reply, when did wedding photos become more about looking perfect and less about commemorating a special event with the people who are important to you? Comment 2, I'd be asking myself why they don't get on reasonably well by this stage, presuming that OP and Fiancé have known each other and their respective friends for at least a couple of years. Sure, they don't need to be best buds, but to not be friends at all makes me question the whole shebang. Something's not right here. OP says, I mean, they get along fine, but the only time they interact is through me. I mean, well, they don't necessarily have to hang out outside.
Like
They don't have
on
to be
their
best friends, but
Right.
there should be kind of like a little rapport.
Yeah.
If we go to dinner and hang out with my friends and it's rarely just the three of us. Yaz gets along better with some of my other friends that she has stuff in common with. Kate just isn't one of them. And there is an update.
Oh boy.
Oh boy, oh boy.
Let's see it.
Let's dive right into that.
Yep.
My fiance and I ended up making up and reconciling a few days later.
Oh, joy.
Joy.
Lovely.
Communication. Wow. Does wonders. We were talking about compromises and it was still a touchy subject, but I thought it was going well and we'd recover. I wish I could leave it at that.
No joy.
No.
The joy's been taken from me.
Wait, what? You just said that you reconciled. You lied to me.
You lied.
She's now my ex-fiance.
Oh my gosh.
You lied to me.
Oh my
You're
gosh.
a liar. Communication didn't solve anything. A little over 2 weeks after our fight, a friend of Yaz contacted me. She told me Yasmin had been venting to her friends over the Kate situation, and she couldn't keep quiet any longer because it wasn't fair to me. This friend sent me messages between Yasmin and them where Yasmin is essentially talking about not trusting me and Kate
Oh.
and saying some pretty derogatory things about her.
No.
If that was it, I'd be angry, but not furious. Long story short, the conversation turns into some confusing conversation I didn't have much context for,
Okay.
but I got the gist. The friend that sent me the messages filled me in with what she knew. Basically, Yaz had an affair before we got engaged.
What did I freaking say?
And all her friends suck.
Yeah.
The fact that they're only telling you now after you got engaged, but like haven't told you until you're maybe calling off the wedding, messed up.
Yeah.
Messed
oh
up.
my gosh.
Like it's been too long.
And the fact that they're just like crapping on Kate when she
Yeah.
literally didn't do anything.
Yeah, saying, oh, she's going to cheat with OP. She's going to cheat with OP when she had an affair.
Yeah. Like
Hypocrite.
literally.
It had allegedly been just one time with some guy she doesn't talk to anymore, but I don't know what to believe. Based on the messages, it seems like that was the case. Apparently, all of her friends knew about this, and I was being played the whole time. Her friends are messed up.
Dude, that sucks.
I talked to
man.
Yaz and she denied it, but I told her I didn't care and she needed to leave. She was throwing a fit and refused to, so I left my own home again because of her. Told her I'd tell everyone what she did if she didn't pack up her crap and go by the time I returned. It worked. 2 days later, I came back and she was gone. She tried contacting me to set things right, but I'm not interested. She can keep the ring for all I care. At this point, I just don't want to see her yet.
Oh my gosh.
By the way, I always want to see you guys because you can listen to full episode stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search Poke Storytime. But there is a little bit left of the story. Get those thoughts out there.
I freaking
freaking called
called
it.
it.
You
I
freaking called it.
because there's no reason if you are like attracted to one gender, okay? And then you have friends of the gender that you're attracted to. Not a problem. Literally
Not a
not a
problem.
problem because you don't have to be attracted to those friends, right?
Yeah.
Not a
It's just
problem.
like think for yourself. Am I attracted to every person in the world?
Yeah.
You know, like am I attracted, if you're attracted to men, am I attracted to every man in the world?
Yeah.
No.
No.
I felt so and worthless and embarrassed. I didn't tell anyone the reason we broke it off. No idea what Yaz is telling people, and I don't care. The past month and a half has been a nightmare, but I'm slowly recovering my pride, and I'm trying to convince myself what she did was her own fault, not mine.
Aw.
It works about half the time. And because I know some of you are going to ask me because you think this is some crappy effing rom-com, I didn't go running to Kate. I've hardly spoken to her or anyone else for a while now. I've been enjoying quarantine and being left alone.
Oh my gosh, yeah, that's right. This isn't 2020.
Oh, that's so that's my final update on the situation. Those of you who said Yaz was being paranoid because she had something to hide, go pat yourselves on the back. Comment 1, that sucks. And frankly, you should be talking to Kate because you should be talking to your friends and getting their support. And clearly she's a really good friend, if not your best friend, so talk to her. Also, based on just this situation, 1, you're a good guy who stood by your good friend and your morals. 2, you're a good guy who tried to find a compromise with your fiance. 3, you're a good guy who trusted your fiance and loved her as you should have. 4, you got involved with someone who turned out to be and worthless and should be embarrassed for screwing you over.
Yep.
Don't let this experience ruin your faith in yourself. That is the end of that story.
But if you love us, make sure to subscribe.
We love you
And see you tomorrow. Except for